in life. In life. Like royalty, royalty. Hey. If I make it in a life, you are gonna be living like royalty. So me happy say the thing alright. Never ever happy think twice, no way. If I ever make it in a life, you are gonna be living like royalty. So me happy say the thing alright. Never ever happy think twice, no way. Me used to sleep on Stagger Coach. Me used to sleep on Corey Coach. Them and they never left me out. Me used to live at Eddie House. Me never keep me own a key. She keep my used to let me out. Me bring him with me go LA. It's like a him get nominated. Watch the Grammy side of me. Cause how much people can you say would feed you when you're hungry, when you broke them bless you with money. But I have been so fortunate, surrounded by so many people, make sure say me compensating. And them the thing me can't forget. Your daughter and my daughter wants me living, she no happy fret. If I ever make it in a life, you are gonna be living like royalty. So me happy say the thing alright. Never ever happy think twice, no way. If I ever make it in a life, you are gonna be living like royalty.
You know that you are as cold as ice to me. You know that you are
Let me take a second, we reflecting with the light, but this the life, I fucking love it. Wouldn't trade it to be white, now that's alright. I got the right at birth, the devil's redefining work.
someday you'll pay the price.
No, I don't break a fold, I need and bake the dough, then recreate the flow. They think they making though, what they forsake is so essential. Over lentils, get your issue. Guess who's on this instrumental with you? Gives a damn if we was family, view unread and call it spam. I'm not a fan of Antichrist, they slayed the man, I swayed the Tim like here I am, the son of Sam is taking shots at David Berkowitz. Pussy.
Someday you'll pay the price.
A different discipline existed in this New York state of mind. Say sin, snot, no, not the actor, but the year we effort. Not one thing in mind to grind until this gavel turns his words to mirth from Babel.
You know that you are as cold as ice to me. You know that you are
Front lines to 69, I follow protocol. This kingdom built.
Shalom. I.S.U.P.K, Yahweh Shemal Ladon Bashim, Yahweh Shah to the sisters. I'm President Captain Yatazak with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, telling you to come out to the 52nd annual Passover under Commanding General YAHANNA. Yeah, man, it's going to be at the ranch, man, the BH ranch. And it's going to be a glorious event. April 24th, come out, come to Houston, Texas, where we're going to serve the Lord the way He's supposed to be served. You understand? We're going to celebrate the destruction of our enemy in the BH Ranch, and it's going to be a glorious event. Make sure you come out, man. It's going to be a $200 fee to get in, but let me tell you something. You're going to enjoy yourself. This is going to be the best event you've ever been to in your life. So I'm going to tell you, man, 1414 9 Player Street, come out, man, and enjoy the brotherhood and sisterhood under Christ. With that, shalom.
The Lord loved us so much that in our poverty, in our hell, I'm going to come and deliver them broken, destroyed, messed up, poor, impoverished people. I'm going to.
Yo niggas ain't tough. Yo niggas ain't tough. You yo niggas ain't tough.
Hey, Shalom Israel. YAHANNA, Yahweh Shema Allah Thug, shout out all the sisters, man. Listen, it's Captain 13,000, a card up around, checking in with the Israelite School of UPK under Commander Junior Hunt.
Power, and you know we not no cowards. Oh, you on that?
Listen, man, this year's 52nd annual Passover. Hold on, I'm gonna say it one more time. This year's 52nd annual Passover under Commander Junior Hunt under the I.S.U.P.K. Couldn't do it last year. Y'all already know the Lord had his foot on our oppressor's neck.
Here in New York City, there are roughly 1,000 cases a day. Those are numbers they haven't seen since May.
Can't do it in New York this year because the Lord still got his foot on our oppressor's neck.
New York, the center of the outbreak this spring, is now teetering on another deadly explosion of the virus.
But listen to me good. This year, 52nd annual Passover, April 24th, 2021. You understand? It's gonna be in H-Town, baby.
It's gonna be at the B&H Ranch, 14149 Players Street, Houston, Texas.
Y'all know what we do. Y'all know what we came to do. Huh?
2021, I.S.U.P.K, 52nd annual Passover. All the generals gonna be there. All the heavy hitters gonna be there. The daughters of Zion gonna step out with their beautiful long dresses, you understand? Strong on deck. That One West style music on deck. 52nd annual Passover.
B&H Ranch, 14149 Players Street, Houston, Texas.
Get with it to get lost, man.
Got it out the mud, straight up out the base. The world done made me crazy. The world done turned crazy.
You dealing with the men of war. We at war. Outside.
Shalom. I.S.U.P.K, Yahweh Shema Ladon Bashim, Yahweh Shah to the sisters. I'm Prince and Captain YAHANNA with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, telling you to come out to the 52nd annual Passover under Commander General YAHANNA. Yeah, man, it's going to be at the ranch, man, the BH Ranch. And it's going to be a glorious event. April 24th, come out, come to Houston, Texas, where we're going to serve the Lord the way he's supposed to be served. You understand? We're going to celebrate the destruction of our enemies in the BH Ranch, and it's going to be a glorious event. Make sure you come out, man. It's going to be a $200 fee to get in, but let me tell you something. You're going to enjoy yourself. This is going to be the best event you've ever been to in your life. So I'm going to tell you, man, 14149 Players Street, come out, man, and enjoy the brotherhood and sisterhood under Christ. With that, shalom.
baddest kid, what's the cameraman? Yes, to us to all right. So we're back on the end of the 34th episode of On the Ends, man. Give us a hand, man. Clap it up, man. We also got the Feast of Purim, you know what I mean? Got the children here, you know what I mean? Righteous men in here, man. Sisters in here. Everyone looking glorious in their garments, man. Shamgar straight from what? From London. Traveling the globe. We got Manchester in here, man. We got Tazapo one, you know, we got Hakayan from London. Sisters Yana Quaff there. We got Alban here from the north. It's lucky. We got Dudley in here, man. It's lucky, man. Got the Northfield in here. Got Quartazar in here. Got the youth them in here, man. It's Tawab, man. Everyone's good, man. It's lucky, man. You can do that real quick. Also, man, Passover coming up, man. You know what I mean? Make sure you pay your Passover fee, man. You know what I mean? Like, 1 second. Shalom, say Yahweh Shem Shabbat.
Bang, 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 bang. Yahweh Shem Shabbat. What's going on?
Yeah, so you know, giving the announcements. I see with your Isaiah 4 thing going on. I say, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Come on, man.
Listen, I had a meet here, you know. I can't just come on, you know. I don't meet you right here.
You gotta get your t-shirt game up, man. You know what I mean? So like you say, I got certain stuff to break your heart, man. Going to break your heart, man. You know how Brixton is always been a black ends, man. Always has been. Right. And just why them sexual deviants try to turn Brixton to a Batman town, man. It's like I feel like they've exceeded. I feel like they've done that, man. And this is what I mean by that, man. This is in Brixton.
That's a woman or a man?
And that's Brixton, man.
Okay, but that's a woman or a man he walking?
I can't tell. Either way, this is how it starts, It starts some little sexual shit. Before you know it, straight out sexual deviance in Brixton, man. I'll play some more.
I'm just in shock right now.
Is she having a laugh over? Is this a joke? One that shall never end in the world.
Tell her how am I talking? The Hamai said, is this a joke? One that shall never end the world.
And Chris Blessings, right, man? Chris said, Bomba. Yo, right and so, man. This M24 was right, man. And because M24 didn't have the strength to say this is wrong, this is what happens, man. There's gonna be more. And if you dare speak about it, they're gonna cancel you, man. They're gonna cancel you and so forth, man.
Well, listen, now that's what they get with the interracial thing, you know what I mean? That's where that come from. That's that interracial thing. That you wanting something strange and foreign. You know what I mean? You walking around this broad or this thing on the ground, smacking the tail, which is okay. The subliminals there is so heavy, because okay, if you just pull it back one more time, so like it to make you all sick with that damn video. But this is disgusting. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. All right. Pause it right there. Pause it right there. Okay. You see, okay, it's supposed to be a woman, right? At least the imagery. We don't know if it's actual woman, but it's supposed to be a woman, right? And it's supposed to be a white woman because the blonde hair, right? That's right. That's who have blonde hair, white women, right? And he's walking her like a dog. So it's supposed to be a dog at the same time. But then he smacks the dog ass just like you would, like a man would smack his woman's behind sexually. So you're trying to say the dog is sexy, or you'd have sex with a dog, or like it's a whole interracial bestiality sexual deviant, just awful type of situation. You get what I'm saying?
One big mix of chichimanism, Salakia, man.
Yeah, listen, how to say the chichi terrorist? The chichi man terrorist. So it's this, and you right, Doc. It's such the beginning of strange things. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Doc. Play it. Go ahead and play it.
I'm just in shock right now.
Is she having a laugh or what? Is this a joke? One that shall never end in the world.
Okay, so now, listen, okay, this is the big thing. One of them brothers is having sex with that thing.
I was thinking the same thing.
Because okay, she ain't just come down there and be like, I want to just walk me like a dog for what my ancestors did. Nah. She this is a trade-off. She gets to do this in the daytime. So at night, she could get her whole insides out.
I remember he spanked him too, so clearly sexual, man.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing, and that's why the Bible warns us about these strange women, Yeah, I mean, the Bible warns us about these strange women, brother. Yeah, I mean, these strange women in Proverbs is a deep ditch, and in Tobit where it's the beginning of all order. Yeah, I mean, it's the beginning of all order. And these strange things, like, why would you go there? I can't get it. And listen, some of our sisters like to go with them men who will put them in the same situation. You go there thinking that you gain something better, and you end up in the basement with a red ball in your mouth for about 2 days. 2 days, screaming and crying.
All types of slackness, man. All types of nastiness, man.
Yeah, man.
But in other words, now, this is last week was what, Valentine's Day, and this
I think a couple weeks ago, right?
Last week was it, or 2 weeks ago?
Hey, Karafia, you're coming in a little bit low too, I don't know if you gotta get closer to the mic or what.
So, like, how am I saying now, sir?
Yeah, way better.
So 2 weeks ago was Valentine's Day, and this is what every woman wanted to be right here, man. Every woman wanted to be Crept and his girlfriend Sasha, man. Look at that. That's my Valentine's Day right there. And all them women wanted to be just like this, man. All the women was pressuring them, man. I want to be like Crept and Sasha, man. For anyone that don't know from America, Crept is a UK rapper, man. All you women pressured your man to buy a gift. Why? Because you saw a Crept on social media, and you just had to get what they had, man. You just had to get what they had. What you don't know is this, man. This is what you don't know about Crept and Sasha, man. Let me break it down for you right now. Listen, Crept and Sasha was no longer together, man. That picture you saw, they just did that just for the image. Crept said they've been broken up once, man. That's why you black women out there, you got a man, you have sex with him. That is your man, man. You love him regardless. Don't love him only Valentine's Day. Don't pressure him to get, Valentine's Day gift, man. Don't worry about what other women are doing. You had sex with this man. This is your man. Don't let your friend get in your ear and say, listen, well, so-and-so's man got her this, so-and-so's man got her that. Why can't I get a ring, man? What you don't know is so-and-so is beating his wife, man. Well, you don't know is so-and-so ain't with his woman, man. They ain't been speaking for months, man. It says Sasha and Crept are no longer in a relationship, man. And that's why when you lie down with a man, that is your man. Regardless of, what so-and-so got a ring for Valentine's Day, so-and-so got a card or whatever, that's their problem, man. You know what I mean? 1 second, I'm gonna get the image. So this is, so like you said, can you see that, sir?
Okay, it comes up now.
Yeah, so this is a Crept on his instant media. He said, I feel like we were so public with you guys, meaning the public. We thought we should let you guys know, but me and Sash haven't been. Me and Sash have been friends for a while, so they've been friends, man. They ain't been lovers no more, just friends now. You know what I mean? So when everyone saw the picture of them going to Dubai, them flying here, and you was pressuring it, man. Why can't we go to Dubai, man? What you don't understand is they're not even together no more, man. Sash most likely gonna get another man and become a whore, man. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. You know, we had to break away from them celebrities, man. Their life is not theirs. That's why they signed that contract and they signed away the rights to their image and stuff. That was somebody else's decision to do all that.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, that was somebody else's decision to do all that mess. Just like Rihanna and Chris Brown, right? You remember Rihanna and Chris Brown?
Kind of one kind.
Right, Rihanna and Chris Brown, they was supposedly young and married and in love and in a relationship and blah 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 blah, and then whatever happened in that damn Lamborghini, Breezy put the hands on her. They just call them crazy legs, where you put some crazy hands on the broad. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, of course, but most brothers in the world, when they're faced with that type of situation, it's difficult. It's difficult to handle if you're not trained. You get me? If you're not trained, it's absolutely difficult to handle. But because of their what's called that thing? That their record contract and their managers and the image they wanna, the managers wanna have for them, they was not allowed to reconcile. You get me? Just because of the imagery. And you remember, they were super young when this thing happened. You know what I mean? When that whole thing happened with them, they were super, super young. Even now, after she was on Oprah, not recently, a few years ago, and she telling Oprah, okay, he was the love of her life. And she wanted to get back with him, but the people around wouldn't allow it. And he was saying the same thing. You get me? And they both agreed that the fight got out of control and they both were at fault. You know what I mean? The story at the time was that he just beat up for no reason. Yeah. She was suspecting him of having some other girl and wasn't listening to him, she wouldn't take his word. They pull over at the side of the road to argue. She take the keys out his hand or wherever it was and throw it into the damn bushes, and he lost it. You know what I mean? He lost it, and they start scrapping. So she admits she pushed him there, and he had never done it before, and he admit he lose control. So tell me why these two people couldn't get back together. They was young. I mean, they had to be like 20 when this shit happened, maybe 21. You know what I mean? Why couldn't they get back in their zone wherever it happened? And it's because, again, their life does not belong to them. You get what I'm saying? Like they whoever is in charge of them, their life don't belong to them no more. You know what I mean? It don't belong to them. And okay, me personally, I ain't got no full-out proof. But me personally, I think he never recovered from her. Because after that is when he started getting all tattooed down. He started dye his hair looking like Amber Rose. You know what I mean? He got depressed over the shit because they crucified him and she got to live. She got to, really live. They didn't try to take her career. They tried to take his. You know what I mean? So, it's a lesson. It's a lesson for us in terms of never, living your life according to people in the media. You know what I mean? And it's so wild where we rather live our life following people in the media than following people in the Bible.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like we would rather follow people in the media. We'd rather follow everybody else than following those in the Bible who that's our people.
That's right.
You know, it's just crazy.
And they're better examples also, man.
Yep.
Better example. And so like I said, if I made a screenshot of what he wrote on his Twitter, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a lot changed during lockdown, and since having Niles, I think that was his daughter, and we just became good friends, but we are good, etc. P.S. I feel like people's assumptions would be that I did something. No, but yeah, we're friends for a minute, and it's still love and vibes. Even celebrated Valentine's. So hold on a minute. When they were celebrating Valentine's Day with the candlelit dinner and all you women was envying them, they wasn't even on good terms, man. But why? Because the oppressor said you must celebrate Valentine's Day, they came together on the day he said you come together. When God said a man and woman should come together all the time, man, regardless of what argument, what disagreement, you gotta fix it, man. But they fix it for the one day the white man said you must fix it, man. And that's how strong Christianity is, man. Damn.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Go ahead.
If I could, yeah, man, and that's the reality, man. The reality is that blacks and Hispanics love to follow the crowd. They love to follow after what is projected in the media, and TV, and the news, and all that. But they rather than find something that is impregnable and strong, they want to cleave onto what everyone else is doing. And that's the problem. That's why everyone wants to follow Valentine's Day and follow after these people, not because they have anything to respect, but only because they have money and because they're living a lifestyle which they've been taught to envy. They envy that lifestyle of having nice cars and nice things, but don't want to look at the morality of how they got that money and how they live. You know what I mean? So like
You all right. Dumgaba is gonna say something.
If I could, real quick as well.
Go ahead.
The same session releases the same woman about 2 months ago that said, "I'm teaching my daughter to be in a long-lasting relationship and get married and walk down the aisle." She can't even stay with her, man. So she's just ain't teaching her daughter nothing, man. Right. This was about. Remember we covered it on the ends as well.
That's right. I remember.
She said she's teaching her daughter to stay with a man long term and not be with anyone, and to get married. The end goal is marriage. And guess what? Sasha Elise's end goal is divorce, man.
That's
so
right.
How's she teaching her daughter? Listen, the only place where the goal of marriage works is in the I.S.U.P.K, man.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
Like you got men here who didn't celebrate Valentine's Day, man. And guess what? Our women are with us. Our women in the kitchen right now.
That's right.
Our women in the kitchen right now.
Bad. Yeah, man. Listen, you're making me forget my horn this week, man.
Like what Dogaba said, man. We don't celebrate Valentine's Day. Look at his plate, man. It's finished now, yeah. The only thing left is bones, man. Only thing left is bones, because that's how delicious it is.
Listen, already I come prepared now. Already know for it.
a great woman, yeah. I got no Valentine's Day gift, man. They cook that for us, man. Right. And they're happy right now in the back, laughing, drinking, having a world of a time, man. And guess what? They ain't single, man. That's right. They ain't single, man. They ain't like, so I say Sasha Release, man. See, as black people, we got to start following the role models in the Bible, man. And not no celebrities, man. Right. You want marriage counseling, don't follow Crep, man. Don't follow Sasha Release, man. You come to the I.S.U.P.K and come to these great counselors, man. And we will fix your marriage, man. One argument and everyone's looking to get it, man. They did their marriage over COVID, man. For COVID? Like, we in the I.S.U.P.K, we experience the same problems of lockdown also, man. We ain't exempt.
Yeah.
Anyone left? No, man. Why? Because we follow the Bible, man. That's right. And according to the Bible, a man cannot put away his woman. A woman cannot leave her husband, man.
Right.
The world got problems, you fix them. But the world told us as black men and black women to be weak, man, and to run away from your problems. A bit of headache and a black man's ready to leave. You know, leave his socks on the floor and the black woman's ready to leave, man. And that's not what we teach in the I.S.U.P.K, man. If everyone's like that, that's how you get single parent homes, man. That's how you get baby mothers and baby fathers, man. You're not telling me the Chinese woman don't get on the Chinese man's nerves. Of course she does, man.
Of course she does. You see that face? Of course she does on his nerves. Of course, that face and that flat tail, she getting on his nerves every day. Every day. He ain't got nothing to look at. You know, sometimes your rib might piss you off, and you know, she don't piss you off, but she walked by in that thing, and that thing doing this thing here. You know what I mean?
You walk and whine.
You know what I mean?
You walk and whine.
You find some way to sneak right up in that thing. That you know, you drop the whole Mac Daddy on her before long is back. But he fall out with her over the fried rice, and she started yelling, "Da." He looking at this thing like, I should just put you in the doghouse with your ugly eye. You know what I mean?
You mean kind of one concert. So we're going to switch gears now. We're going to ZZ Mills.
No. Also, too, if I could just back on that, right? Like what the brothers were saying was so heavy. Where, like we follow celebrities and what they do a lot because we don't have our identity. Like our identity is tied with our slave master so much. It's tied with our slave master so much, where like that's what gives us pride. Like you ever see somebody argue with anyone who may have who may be a celebrity, and then they'll say, well, they got money though. They got money though. Or the bills paid. They're all right, yeah, but they they're winning though. Like our life is tied to them and their success. So it's hard to break somebody out of that type of influence when that person does not know who they are. That person don't have an identity, you know what I mean? And that is what leads to it, because without an identity is you marry to somebody else who don't have identity. You marry to nobody in your mind. You get the point? That's why brothers treat them white girls so precious, because that's a white woman. She comes from a great empire. Her people are in charge. Brothers treat, them heathens, them Hamites and them Elamites, and them Ishmaelites so, proper. And sisters treat their men proper too, because when they get with that person, they get with the identity of that person. You get the point? That's why some of them brothers, when they go get them heathen women, they be ugly as shit. They be absolutely ugly as hell. But when them heathens come to get our women, they take the baddest of the bad.
That's right.
You get what I'm saying? They take the baddest of the bad because it's the identity thing. Like once she's look at what happened with Dwight York. Like Dwight York was willing to get with that whore. She's been with everybody.
That's right.
You get the point? And it didn't matter. Jordan something was her name, right?
Jordan, Katie Price, her real name is. But Jordan's
Katie
the stage name.
Right? So now he didn't think twice of it, because this is a white woman. You get the point? This is a white woman. She has an identity, and I'm tying myself to her identity. You get the point? So now imagine you in the house, wherever, in a flat somewhere, and you with Keisha, and Keisha with whoever. You know what I mean? Keisha with Jerome, and two of them there, and they're looking at each other. They're looking at each other like you ain't shit.
That's right.
It's because we don't have no identity. So now our argument is more so
important.
What? Okay, the argument now is not an argument with somebody important or somebody of value. It's an argument with somebody who is less. So now, it's like, I don't have to take this shit from you.
That's right. And I see that. I see that as well. Come on, Khan.
You know what I mean? It's like a pride thing, but it's pride from self-hatred, where I ain't taking the shit from you or your dumb ass. That's why Beyonce had the song, I could do better in a minute. In fact, he'll be here in a minute. Listen, I remember them lyrics burned in my head. Any broad I hear like in that song, I know I'm not dealing with her. That all his things in the corner, in a box to the left. She said, I can have another you in a minute. In fact, he'll be here in a minute. If you can have another me in a minute, then of course, I ain't important. I ain't that special thing. You get the point? There's nothing exclusive about me. But Tiger Woods was sad to lose them white girls, remember? Tiger Woods married a goddamn waitress or a nanny. That bitch wasn't doing shit. Wasn't doing nothing. He's the #1 golf player on the planet, not just America, on the planet. He could have had any woman he wanted. He could have had any amount of women he wanted. And he went and got a nanny from Norway. And that bitch beat him with a golf club. She beat him. He beat his ass with a golf club, ran down the car, beat up the car, all kind of shit. And after he went and got another one. Damn. Because that heathen, to him, that's his identity. That's why he said, I'm not black, I'm Blasian. You remember that? You can't remember. Even O.J. Simpson, I don't know if you remember O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson said, I'm not black, I'm O.J. You know what I mean? I'm trying to tell you, the juice. And the juice was loved by America. He was loved. He was, he was America's golden boy. But it comes from that lack of identity. It comes from that. If you have self-hatred, you ain't got no real business, entering into no marriage. And if you're in one right now, both of y'all should come in the UPK and become brand new.
That's right.
I mean, both of you should come all the way in here and do your 90 days and become brand new, where you could look at each other in a different light.
That's
You know what I mean? You can look at each other in a different light, where it ain't so easy to sit there and harm each other. You get the point? Because that's what we do down there in the world all day, is harm each other, say evil shit to each other, treat each other a certain way. And not just in marriage, just regular brotherhood in life. The way how we deal, you know what I mean? The way how we deal with each other. You're chiming too and all.
So like I said, I got a caller in line as well. Can I bring him in?
Please.
You got a question or comment? Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, we hear you good. Pardon? Yeah, we hear you good. Yeah, this is John in the chat.
Hey, Karakia, we can't hear him too well, you probably have to bring that thing up a little more.
Okay, so kind of one can. Like, you hear me now? Say that again, please, John.
Yeah, you told me to call in last weekend.
What was regarding again, sir? What was regarding? I can't.
What was it? Isaiah 19:25.
You want Isaiah 19:25 broken down?
Yeah.
All right, someone get me that, please, Baba Kushar.
What was his question?
Wants to break up Isaiah 19:25.
Okay.
What's your location?
UK.
Okay, what city?
London.
Okay, what is Christ?
Is he an Israelite?
Are you a brother?
What's your nationality?
Yeah.
What's your nationality?
Jamaican.
Okay.
And what verse is it again, sorry?
Isaiah 19:25.
Isaiah 19:25.
Get closer to the mic, Shamgar.
Follow card, sir. Isaiah chapter 19, verse 25. The Lord, whom the Lord of hosts shall bless, saying, Blessed be Egypt, my people, and Assyria, the work of my hands, and Israel, mine inheritance. That's it. Okay.
Okay.
So,
And
what's your question on that scripture? Are you implying that the Lord loves?
No. Let him ask his question. I'm saying don't put the words. Just ask him exactly what it is he wanted.
Okay, so you want to break, what's your question on that scripture?
No, I want to know, why does it say, Blessed be Egypt, my people? Yeah, so basically I want a breakdown of that.
I got you. Okay, you know at one time we were in Egypt, right?
Yeah.
All right, and what just like where you in London today, what are you known as in London?
Jamaican. Jamaican, yeah.
Okay, so if you, let's say, Lord forbid, of course, I'm just speaking hypothetical, if you commit a crime today, would the newspapers read a Jamaican man or a British man?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Probably a Jamaican man, isn't it? I don't know.
You think it'll read Jamaican?
Yeah.
Okay, so why when they talk about Raheem Sterling, do they call him Jamaican or do they call him British?
Yeah, they call him British. Yeah.
They call him British.
No,
but when they refer to him, in a document, they call him British, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right, but he is from Jamaican descent, Jamaican ancestry, living in that land in captivity. Raheem Sterling he's no different than anyone of me and you who's living in slavery in England. He is just a famous slave, but he is a slave. He is a slave to the British Empire, so he'll be considered British. The Lord is saying, blessed be Egypt and blessed be Assyria, because we were also slaves in Egypt and Assyria. That's why I say, and Israel, mine inheritance. It's speaking all the same. It's not talking about blessing the Egyptians or blessing the Assyrians.
So when it says Assyria, my handwork, what does that
say that one more time?
When it says Assyria my handwork. What does that mean?
Say that. I ain't hear what you say.
When it says Assyria, it says Assyria my handwork. What does that mean?
Okay, once again, the Assyria there is referring to the Israelites who was living in Assyria. So what happened to us there, or whatever he did with us there, was his handwork. Just like Egypt. We were living in Egypt. The work of his hands in Egypt was to destroy Egypt and pull us out of Egypt. You understand?
It's lucky, sir.
Mm-hmm.
If I may, I got a precept. If you could read that for me.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on with the precept. I want to know if you're following that first.
Do you follow that?
Yeah.
All right. So now give me, before you go up, before you get your precept, Karathia, I just want to skip further up in that same chapter. You was going somewhere else, or you was in the same chapter?
I'll go somewhere else, sir.
Okay, hold on with what you have, all right? Because I'm gonna need it, right? Skip up to verse 20.
So Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 20. And it shall be for a sign. And
Start at 19. Start at 19.
Verse 19.
Right. So now this is the same chapter, just a few verses higher, right? And this is just, this is just for everybody's, knowledge and culture. And sometimes, people have one or two scriptures where it seems like it's saying something, but that's not what it's saying. If you read higher up or lower down, you will see exactly what it's saying. So it's the same case here, all right? Go ahead.
Verse 19. In that day shall there be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at the border thereof to the Most High.
Go ahead.
Verse 20. And it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto the Most High of hosts in the land of Egypt, for they shall cry unto the Lord because of the oppressors.
Because of who?
Because of the oppressors.
Because of who?
Because of the oppressors.
Go ahead.
And he shall send them a savior. And he shall save them a savior.
Go ahead.
And a great one. And he shall deliver them.
So now the same brother who asked the question, this sign and this altar that would be set up, who is the Lord talking to when he said it will be set up as a sign? Who is going to see this sign?
I'm not sure.
Okay, no problem. Who would be he's talking about in Egypt. You know the Israelites were in Egypt, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so who would be the oppressors in Egypt?
The Egyptians, right?
The Egyptians would be the oppressors. So then the Egyptians can't be the Lord's people because they're the oppressors.
That's right.
Right? And then he said, and he shall send them a savior. Who is he sending a savior for? The Egyptians or the Israelites under bondage?
The Israelites.
All right, good job. Keep reading, Shamgar.
Verse 21. And the Lord shall be known to Egypt and the Egyptians.
Say it again.
And the Lord shall be known to Egypt.
And the Lord shall be known to Egypt. Keep that in your mind. Go ahead.
And the Egyptians shall know the Most High in that day.
Go ahead.
And shall do sacrifice and oblations. Yea, they shall vow a vow unto the Most High and perform it.
All right. So what is he? Stop right there. So what is he talking about now? Who is he speaking about here? The Egyptians who are the oppressors, or those who live in Egypt who are Israelites?
The Israelites.
He's talking to the Israelites. That's right. Get the brother a hand. He following. Give him a hand. He's following. He's talking to the Israelites there because, of course, we are his people. And in Egypt, we vowed to follow the Lord after he took us out of Egypt. We promised we was going to follow him. We're going to follow Moses. We're going to follow the Savior, right? Who he sent. Go ahead.
Verse 22. And the Most High shall smite Egypt.
And he shall do what?
The Most High shall smite Egypt.
Say it again.
The Most High shall smite Egypt.
Right. If the Lord is going to smite Egypt, then the Egypt he's talking about in 25 can't be the Egyptians he smite. It has to be the Egyptians he did not smite. Just like England loves British people who serve England, but they don't love British people like Mark Duggan. You know who Mark Duggan is, right?
Yeah.
Right. What's the other brother? Rashawn Charles. You know who Rashawn Charles is, right?
No, I've not heard of him. But...
No sweat. You might want to look him up. Rashawn Charles was a young brother right down there, I think in Tottenham or London somewhere. And the cop thought he had drugs and thought he swallowed the drugs. The cop decided he was going to pull the drugs out the brother's stomach and push his hand down the brother's throat and kill the brother with his hand down his throat. Right? That Rashawn Charles is British too. The cop is also British. Who do you want to be punished? Rashawn Charles or that cop?
The cop.
Exactly. That British guy, he got to get punished. The other British guy, he gonna get saved. They're both British. There's a difference. You get the point? Keep reading, Shamgar.
He shall smite and heal it, and they shall return even to the Most High.
Right.
And
they will return to the Most High, meaning what? Those people he healed out of Egypt. And that's who we are. We the ones he healed out of Egypt. Go ahead.
Right. And he shall be entreated of them. And
right.
shall heal them.
Go ahead, give me verse 23.
In that day shall there be a highway out of Egypt to Assyria. And the Assyrian shall come into Egypt. And the Egyptian into Assyria. And the Egyptians shall serve with the Assyrians.
You understand? It's talking about the same thing right there. It's letting you know this is Israel he's talking about. Go ahead.
Verse 24. In that day shall Israel be the third with Egypt and with Assyria, even a blessing in the midst of the land.
Right? Even a blessing in the midst of the land. Meaning this, no matter where we are, no matter what our slavery condition is, no matter how beat down we are, the Lord is ready to take us out of it, man. He's ready to take us out of it. He's ready to protect us, shield us from it. All we had to do is turn to him. All we had to do is know that we are not British, even though they call us British. And I'm going to give you something else. We not Jamaican, even though they call us Jamaican. We not Barbadian. We not St. Lucian. We not Grenadian. We not American. We not Puerto Rican. We not Brazilian. We the 12 tribes of Israel. You get me? But we're called by another name. It just so happened the heathens are called by that same name as well. So I could understand the confusion here. But when it talks about that blessing, it's talking about the Israelites that live in that land. You get the point?
All right. So could you go to Amos 9:7?
Okay, we'll get that in a second. Let the brother pull the precept that he wanted to pull. Karathia?
If you could get me Isaiah 11 and 11. The book of Isaiah, chapter 11 and verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people.
Go ahead.
Which shall be left from Assyria.
There you go. There goes Assyria again. The Lord's people in Assyria. Did you notice in there it's Assyria and Egypt? Why? Because these are the places where we were. To the greatest captivities we went through was in Egypt and in Assyria.
Right.
And the Lord said he's going to gather his people out from Egypt. Those were the brothers that you read about in the chapter you pulled. And Assyria, them same brothers you read about in the chapter you pulled. We done?
And from Egypt, and from Pathros.
And from where?
And from Pathros.
No, before Pathros.
And from Egypt.
And from Egypt, man. That's the Egyptians they're talking about, not the real Egyptians, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the brothers they're talking about, man. Shalom. Shalom, say, so I can call that. So, what, did you go somewhere else, or?
I want to know, do you understand that first? Do you understand that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
We get there, and if you could take a quick break. Like Tawab,
okay, no sweat. Is he good with it, or does he understand it now? He's Tawab.
Are you Tawab with that? You good with it?
Yeah.
All right, so that answers your question, or you have another one?
Any more questions, or is that okay?
No, that's what it. Amos 9 and 7.
Oh, and I want Amos 9 and 7.
Yeah,
Okay, no sweat. What was your question about Amos 9 and 7?
What was your question on Amos 9 and 7?
Oh no, yeah. Could you just break that down as well? Because it sounds similar to the previous one. So I just want to know if you're talking. Is it talking about the Israelites who are living in Egypt as well, or is that actually the Ethiopians?
Okay, I got you. No sweat. All right, read it one more time, man.
Amos 9 and 7.
Go on. Amos is the. Well, okay, Amos is 9 and verse 7. Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel?
Mm-hmm.
Saith the Most High, have not I brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Qatar, and the Syrians from Kir?
Right. So in a way, it's saying the same thing, not exactly. This is a father talking to children, and he's saying, no, aren't you acting like those people, children? You're not acting like mine. Are you not like the children of Ethiopians? Because Ethiopians are not God's chosen people. They do not come from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They come from the seed of Ham. He's saying, look at you behaving like Africans. Don't you? I'm sure you're fully aware some of our people think they're African, right or wrong?
Right, yeah.
Right? It's the same thing. And then he says, have not I brought you out of the land of Egypt? Some of our people think they're Egyptians. And he's saying, I brought you out of Egypt. He said, and the Philistines from Qatar. Some of our people lived amongst them and were in captivity then. And the Syrians from Kir, the same thing under the Syrian captivity. But even though he brings us out of them, we try to be like them even more.
That's right.
You understand? Even though we the greatest people on the earth, Usain Bolt is a Jamaican, right? You have other Caribbean famous athletes, Raheem Sterling. Give me some more of them brothers' names. You have Dwight York. Who else you got?
Dwight York, Andy Cole,
Ian Wright. Give me some top level ones. You have Ronaldinho. You have you have a whole slew of top level athletes, singers, people with intelligence, engineers, doctors, amongst our people. But then we turn around and claim African. Where are their great people? Where's their great Kobe Bryant? Where's their fastest man on the earth? Where's their best singers and rappers? What do they have that shows that they're the great ones? They don't. We are the best at everything we do. And we are the best because the Lord is blessing us in that land that we're in. The Lord is giving us that talent. The Lord is giving us those things that makes us excel. And we turn around and call ourselves African. We turn around and call ourselves Ethiopian. We turn around and call ourselves whatever. You get the point?
Yeah.
So that's why he's saying, are you not like unto me like the children of the Ethiopians? Like I brought you out of Egypt, nigga. That's what he's saying. It's like a father or a mother saying, you behaving like such and such children. Don't bring that bullshit in my house. I put a roof over your head. I sent you to school. Didn't I come and bail you out of that goddamn jail? How dare you now act like you one of them? You my child. You get the point?
Yep.
That's what he's saying. Nowhere in the Bible does the Lord show favor to any heathen nation.
That's right.
Nowhere. You get it? You understand, brother?
Yeah.
All right, so we clear? We good?
Yeah. All right. I appreciate the breakdown.
No sweat. Thanks for calling, brother. Hey, let's take a quick break, all right? And we'll be right back with our special guest this evening, Tanaya Sam. right? I want you all to just be really pay attention to this brother for sure. You know what I mean? Made a change in his life, documented it well in his book. We're going to interview him real soon. Just walked in the studio. But in the meantime, you know what I mean? Check out the Passover. We're going to be right back, all right?
The Lord loved us so much that in our poverty, in our hell, I'm going to come and deliver the broken, destroyed, messed up, poor, impoverished people. I'm going to.
Yo, niggas ain't tough. Yo, niggas ain't tough.
Hey, Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Brakatah. Yahweh Shema Alatah Bashim Yahushua to all the sisters, man. Listen, it's Captain 13,000 that called up around, checking in with the Israelite School of UPK under Commander Jerry Yohanna.
You know we not no cowards. Oh, you on that?
Listen, man, this year's 52nd annual Passover. Hold on, I'm gonna say it one more time. This year's 52nd annual Passover under Commander Jerry Yohanna under the I.S.U.P.K. Couldn't do it last year. Y'all already know the Lord had his foot on our oppressor's neck.
Here in New York City, there are roughly 1,000 cases a day. Those are numbers they haven't seen since May.
Can't do it in New York this year because the Lord still got his foot on our oppressor's neck.
New York, the center of the outbreak this spring, is now teetering on another deadly explosion of the virus.
But listen to me good. This year, 52nd annual Passover, April 24th, 2021. You understand? It's going to be in H-Town, baby.
It's going to be at the B&H Ranch, 14149 Players Street, Houston, Texas.
Y'all know what we do. Y'all know what we came to do. Huh?
2021, I.S.U.P.K, 52nd annual Passover. All the generals gonna be there. All the heavy hitters gonna be there. The daughters of Zion gonna step out with their beautiful long dresses, you understand? Strong on deck. That One West style music on deck. 52nd annual Passover.
B&H Ranch, 14149 Players Street, Houston, Texas.
Get with it to get lost, man.
Got it out the mud, straight up out the base. The world done made me crazy. The world done turned crazy.
You dealing with the men of war. We at war. I sided with the Lord, of course. On one accord. We ain't never stopping now. You running now. All my niggas go to ground.
Clap it up. No. This year, Passover, April 24th, down there in Houston, Texas. We're going to be down there. Everybody send that Passover fund in ASAP, $200 per person. Every person 17 years and over. I believe for the UK is about 142, something like that. You all know you had a superior money over there. You had a slave money over there. And so, yeah, I mean, so it's about 142. You know what I mean? It's going to be a whole week. This year, the Passover going to be at the B&H Ranch. I forget how many acres, but it's a ridiculously large ranch. There going to be horses to ride, ponies for the kids, a fishing pond for them to fish in. It's going to be insane. Of course, you know, we have the indoor and outdoor ranges for the sharpshooters, for the strikers on them. You know what I mean? You come down there and, you know, get in on the range. We see who really about it. They had the kids' party the Friday. I think the lamb slaughter is the Thursday. A car going to be handling that all week. The sisters going to be getting together, baking the bread, baking that unleavened bread. Saturday's the Passover. Sunday's the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So it's going to be a whole week. Send that 200 in ASAP. It's going to be enough wine, enough lamb, enough bread. You know what I mean? Come and meet all your brothers and sisters from all over the world. You know what I mean? For the Passover. Also, March 6th. What's coming up next? Round 2. I.S.U.K versus the Proud Boys, boy. Big up Commander General Yohanna, you know what I mean? He definitely destroyed them the first time around. If you all don't know, the brother on the left, Enrique Tarrio, he's the leader of the Proud Boys, which is a white supremacist group. It's absolutely ridiculous because he's Cuban, he's Manasseh, he's an Israelite. But then white people done duped him and, you know, put him in charge of the group. to try to make the group seem peaceful and passive, but them is the same bastards who stormed the Capitol and, you know, contribute to all the rioting that was going on down there in January. So, you know, we had that discussion with them last week. You could watch part 1 on the internet right now. Just go to Commanding General YAHANNA on YouTube and you could watch that. And the part 2 is going to be March 6th, which is not this Saturday, but next Saturday on that same channel. This Saturday, Commanding General YAHANNA going to be sitting with the whole UK crew. Yeah, I mean, Captain Parashia, Karafia, Dumgaba, you're going to be on the show this Saturday night. Anybody who want to call in, y'all make sure call the number. We're taking calls from UK too. It's going to be, for y'all, it's going to be about 2 a.m. in the morning, but it's going to be a 9 o'clock show in America. You know, Commander General YAHANNA, one of the baddest men, the baddest man on planet Earth for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. One of the most controversial men, you know what I mean, come through. You know, let's sit down with the whole discussion with the UK squad and let's get it in. All right. All right. So let's go. Right now we have Tanaya Sam, boy. Brother there from Brum. Go ahead, Karafia, take it over.
Oh, so like I said, no, can I say, actually a minute. No, sir.
Say again?
The brother wanted to ask a question real quick before he goes into it. But,
no sweat, go ahead.
When do we after? All right, no sweat. So I can cut you, sir.
No sweat, no sweat.
But Tanaya Sam from Brum, you know what I mean? Got a book. Go cut that book, man. You know what I mean? It's a powerful read. After hardship comes ease, man. And his brother in this book, the brother tells the story, man, of you know, street life to, you know, changing his life. So I let him introduce himself. Also, if you could let the people know where they can find you, social media and so forth. And you know what I mean? We'll like to hear it, man. If you could.
Thank you. Greetings to each and every one. It's an honor to be here. As my brothers mentioned, my name's Tanaya Sam. I've authored After Hardship Comes Ease, which is part 1. Part 2 is in the making. I've also got a non-profit organization, TSA Projects. So we're based in Neutrals, working with young people and young adults, supporting them through sports and education. And I'm just a guy on a journey, man, that's just trying to support young people to not make some of the mistakes that I made previously and end up where I have ended up previously. So yeah, my Facebook and Instagram and Twitter's at Tanaya Sam.
Yeah. Okay, then, man. So let's start from the beginning then. You know what I mean? Like, where'd you come up? Where'd you grow up? You know what I mean? Just give us a flavor of you know, what area in Brum you come up. You know what I mean?
But, you know,
if I could, Karafia, if you could disconnect the mic, Parashia could disconnect that mic so he could use it, so you don't have to keep passing the mic back and forth. Because that second one there, no, yeah. Parashia, the one in front of you, disconnect that so the brother could use that. You know what I mean?
Okay, thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You can hear me all right, Captain?
Much better.
Okay. Yeah, so it's funny because this little strip where where the headquarters is on, this was my spot as a kid, man. So Winston Green, you know, I grew up in Winston Green up until the age of 14, and then I moved just over the other side of the 2 roundabouts into Newtown, and from the age of 14 up until my adulthood, the family home was in Newtown. So Winston Green and Newtown is my ends, but just, you know, the whole inner city, in essence, really, I'd say that's where man's from.
Okay. So how was life growing up in Brum back then? You know what I mean? I got an uncle kind of about your age, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got pictures of him dressed up in the, you know, the baggy the matching waistcoat with the matching.
Oh, yeah.
You come up in the jungle there.
Don't try and show no shade. Don't try and show no shade here, you know. Yeah, I mean.
The drum and bass, but you know what? I go because 1980 I was born, and at the time my parents were Rastas, so it was that movement when I came into life and started to develop. That's what I was under, that movement. And I was saying to my brother to the right that you know, seeing the headquarters, it reminds me of back then when just seeing a unification of a black community that are standing by, you know, traditional values and it's like a village raising a village raising a child in it. So it's like it reminds me of back then. So
Wow.
that's what I come into. And I,
that's heavy. I give you a hand for that. That's righteous. That was right.
Yeah. So it was the dance, like sound system era. You know what I mean? So that's what I was trying to go towards, because my dad was a mic man for various sounds. And I remember I remember there was one time Handsworth Park on a Sunday, on a random day on a Sunday, and the whole ends went to Handsworth Park. Sound just strung up, and people were just there as a community. And I remember those days, and that's why I try to mention it in my book in regards to the first chapter, Handsworth Carnival, because I'm trying to give people an element of how it was back then. It was a community. Everybody knew who everybody was.
So it was mainly Caribbean back then too. Remember?
Caribbean.
Everyone,
Caribbean.
but everybody
Caribbean.
strictly
It was straight Caribbean, man. So that's what it was until the drugs came in. When the drugs came in, because our fight was against the police, and our fight was against racism, and then the drugs came in, and it just switched it up. And young people like myself, we just lost guidance and just headed towards where the system wanted us to end up realistically.
If I can say one thing at the back of that, what's heavy is in the book, I read that part, and even as I'm reading it, it's taking me back to them when I was really small, walking in that same part, hearing the bass that's making your heart thump. You know what I mean? That
right.
It's the bass that deep. It's running in you, man. You know what I mean? And definitely you don't find that anymore. So like, even in the book, reading that, it's like I was going back. You know what I mean? Like, damn, ages ago. So it was definitely in that book. It was an excellent job that you did, man. You know what
That's
I mean?
right.
Sorry, quick question. We'll get back on this. Quick question off topic, man. So, seeing as you're in the sound, man, got any killer dubs now? No dubs.
Nah, we've still got our dubs, from back then. Still,
You must have a killer dub, but about
Karate, get help. You see what happened? What happened is you're trying to clash me so much, and I'm telling them all the time. You're trying to get help. You're trying to get some help.
But Bounty was the artist back then for sure. For sure, I was Team Bounty back then as a kid.
On,
still.
man. All right, so I'll let you continue. So from the sound system days, like what happened?
Well, I mean, with the sound system days, that was like there was always little cliques of us that were having a name of a sound, and we would just save up our school money, our pocket money, and go down to Spring Hill. It was the record shop. Bongo Star had a record shop down there, or Summit Records in town.
Still there today.
Yeah. So we used to just basically save and just practice at home, and wherever there was turntables. And we had our first dance, man. When we were 14 years old, had our first dance in Spring Hill, and it was a vibe. And that was the theme back then. I see the young people today, they got their little rap groups, and it's very similar to back then, but it was like sound system. So that's what we was on as kids, man. And other than that, it was football.
Okay, so where did you fit in the sound system with the mic man?
I was the mic man, I was the mic man. I was the mic man.
I hear that.
Trying to follow in my dad's footsteps at the time. So yeah.
Okay, let's make sure we selector, man. You know what I mean? I'm playing. But anyway, so from there, when did at this point in time, was there the division between the ends, or was it united at this time?
Nah, it was one, man. It was one, amongst the young people, because by then now we got Frontline over, on Soho Hill. We had Frontline over on Heatfield Road, Crampton's Corner. So, there were certain little behaviors the youth were picking up, and, there were certain little rivalries in amongst just like individuals, but it wasn't like it was definitely not a postcode thing, 100%. And even like the two crews had formed, the Burger Bar and Johnson's crew at the time, they had formed, but even still, it was that friction was more with amongst the yardies, you know what I mean, the ones that were keeping up, you know what I mean, jeggeries in the community. That was more the friction was more with them, to be fair, at the time.
This is what 90s. 'Cause I remember growing up. When
Yeah, the early part of the 90s.
Yeah, I remember growing up when the Yardies came, the second wave, crime. Listen, it got hot, man. It was, black people hating black people, brothers from the UK hating brothers from Jamaica, but the same people, mind you. But I got a brother saying, "Yo, I can't stand Yardies, man." I was like, "What?"
Oh,
like,
man,
be Jamaican feel at home, man. Like our grandparents Jamaican.
Yeah,
and that was the fight we had at the time, man, over the accent. And if you saw a brother with his hair braided up, the Yardies have the hair braided up, sticking up.
Yes,
yeah, on site, man.
The scare them vibes. But I think I remember a lot of the times back then it was about the yardies were coming and taking the girls.
Yeah, I remember that too.
That was a lot of friction was caused because of the the wanting the girls and that. But I think that's where we kind of as a community lost ourselves because the family values just went left and everyone's just chasing the little one night thing, dipping here, dipping there. This girl, that girl, and there's no marriage or thinking of a family structure. There was none of that. Amongst the young people, and I think the disconnect happened with my father's generation because they took on to the Rasta ways because of the rejection of their grandparents, my grandparents. So it would have been that Windrush generation. They had come, they were settling in, they were making money, but a lot of them had left the Caribbean to come over here and left their children over in Jamaica. So them children were living with their grandparents, and then they eventually came over and seeing that their parents have got another 3 children with some next berry, you know what I mean? And then they've got to somehow fit in. And then at the same time, they had the problems with the police. They weren't getting no job opportunities. So it was they were you know what I mean. They went to the teachings of Bob, Marcus Garvey, etc. But I think once the drugs come in now, it warped to them teachings. You get me? And then now they started keeping up with, leaning towards crime and not thinking about the family structure and the community. They start to think about themselves because some people they start take addiction now. You know what I mean? And they're seeing this man over there with this money and this BMW and this Saab 900. They start chase after them things. And unfortunately, us youth, that's what we were seeing. So we start embed them thing there within our little settings.
If I could right there too, like you kind of answered the question, but if I wanted to see if you could go more into it because and both of you all mentioned how when the Yardies came over, when I would guess that whole migration at one time it was the biggest thing in the islands was getting a visa and going foreign. You know what I mean? That was the biggest thing. Whether you're going New York, Flatbush, or you're going England. You know what I mean? It was you want to leave the islands because it was slim pickings. You know what I mean? If you come from a well-off family or have connections, you're trying to go outside because you don't want the options there. But okay, I think on both sides, even for America, for UK, for Jamaica, Trinidad, Grenada, everybody kind of would have the similarity where there is a disconnect with, like how you always say, okay, the Yardies come up. You know what I mean? For somebody back home, they might, for America, they'll call them the Yankee or the Yankee boy because he live in New York so much times. You get the point? Like it seemed like we're the same people, but there's a whole disconnect based on where we live. And just like how the caller before asked about Syrian and Egyptian, is like now we the same people, come from the same plantation. Our parents pick cotton and cut cane, but you live in Handsworth now, so and somebody from Portmore is a Yardie and somehow different from you, but you the same, and now there's a beef over the woman, and that's my woman too. You know what I mean? So I want to see, okay, in your opinion, where you think that whole separation come from, because the premise of leaving the islands is to go to a better place to send back and help and build up. It was supposed to be like a lend hand, like I'm going to reach and I'm going to reach back for you, but somehow that doesn't happen, or it didn't happen. And then now it's like when men come up after, is like you look at it, there's a way they look down on the people who come after.
Yeah, I think with the Windrush, and I'm a young person, so at the same time, if I speak out of turn, I ask people to forgive me. But I think with the Windrush generation, when they came and helped build back the country, and they got established with their jobs. I'm thinking about my gran and like what she achieved and her generation. They were well established and they had a community. And then like my father's generation, I kind of noticed that when they come, just observation going backwards, they kind of would just seemed a bit lost, and they were more chilled. And of course they were dealing with that, the police, the trying to fit in society. But those that come now that we call the yardies, that were coming from, say, JLP, PMP, clashes back in Jamaica, and that were coming from, being on the run from committing murders and whatnot. They came with hunger, and they weren't slacking, yo. They came with hunger, you know what I mean? So when they came in, they like, yo, these boy them just move slow like this, like they're on it. And,
right.
And so I feel like with my pops, I suppose he kind of borderlines being a yardie, you know what I mean? Because he was running around with a lot of, the street type of dudes. So he could be borderline classed as a yardie. And also we had in the early 90s, there were a couple men being shot and murdered from amongst, the British born Afro-Caribbean descent youth. So from that day, the resentment started. And I definitely would say that my generation, we kind of come into this more hungry. We come into this, we saw chains, we saw those cars, we saw those females flocking around certain individuals, and we saw how they got it. And at the same time, you had Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, King of New York, Scarface, all these films perpetuating the criminal lifestyle is how you get it. And then you listen to the rap NWA, and these artists again kind of representing, anger and frustration in their bars, and we resonated with it. So I think we just lent more towards that side of things,
So
I feel it. Go ahead.
Come in, we'll make one quick statement and we'll take it somewhere else. But I remember when another thing, I feel like what happened with the yardies and the British boys was, I'm saying this for conversation's sake. When people look at British boys, they think, soft man.
Yeah.
Tea and crumpets. In the 90s, the Jamaicans came on that. They came like, these are they put in prison. These are, what in Jamaica, police said, "Oi boy, give me a search." In England, the police service said, "Oh, like you man soft." Jamaican man come here, got to sell all the drugs. You know what I mean? Not all of them. They had the gold chains, the cars, everything, man. And British boys looking like, yo, like you can't just come to my country and stunt on me, man. And took all the females, man. Every last female. We couldn't get none. At one point, a girl, you had a Jamaican accent, the girls are on you, man. And I think that's what sparked it as well. That made British boys, get vexed back, man. But sorry.
Yeah, but I mean that.
Listen, if I could jump in right there too, like, okay, it come back to where, like, we as a people, we don't have an identity. So, you know what I mean? We don't have that one identity where, okay, like a Chinese from China and a Chinese in America or a Chinese in Britain is that same slanty eye chink. He gonna sell you fried rice and chicken wings, but he gonna take his money to his people because he know what he about. And they might have their little infighting and whatever, but at the end of the day, they know it's us versus them. I think with us, is like, we trade the comfort and the riches and the lifestyle for who we are. Because now that disconnect there where like how Karate just says, like, you come to my land and you're gonna stunt on me and you're taking my woman. And that's the thought pattern then for most people in that situation. But Britain ain't our land. You get the point? And that woman is his woman too. That's his sister. You get the point? So it's damn near like we as a people, we so beat down and oppressed that if we get to look like the oppressor and live like him, when we see another man like us or another woman like us who don't look like the oppressor, who don't live like him, we see them through the oppressor eyes. So now he's a yardie, he's a hooligan, he's a, he reckless, he a cutthroat, he a roughneck. But, a few years ago, you was the same thing. You know what I mean? So like I think that lack of identity it leave room for that thing to come in where we start to look at each other real different and treat each other different. But when them other nations, they come to Britain, you know, they coming together to spoil us.
Yeah.
They come
And I think
together and
also,
work together. So, go ahead.
yeah, sorry. I think also as well back then, like, you know, in terms of referring matters back to the creator and putting our trust in the creator, and I weren't, you know, people will talk about the read Bible, but you know, or probably say, you know, I mean, Jah Rastafari or whatever, but there's no real connection with the creator. There weren't no real education around them things as well. So I think I can see like we were just lost. We were just lost, and you know, moving on from the sound days, going into, you know, when we start to develop in terms of as a little crew, and we were wild. We were wild. We wanted to be the baddest. That's why we called ourselves Badaba, as opposed to being like, because we, in a sense, were the younger Burger Bar, but we called ourselves Badaba because we wanted to be the baddest, and we was just going on wild and reckless, and as a result, you know, that it caused a lot of destruction, hurt, and pain in our community, off the back of our flawed thoughts.
Okay, so if I could, yeah. So you mentioned the word Burger Bar. You know what I mean? A big infamous gang in Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Who are known for opposing the Johnsons. Quick, a lot of people, you know, don't know where them names come from. If you know, if you let the viewers know where the name Burger Bar and Johnson came from.
Well, you got on up the front line up Soho Hill. There's a calf called the Burger Bar Calf. So that used to be a spot where, you know, people used to sell drugs from, but also people will go, like me, I will go there to play Street Fighter. It's a place where you could just go and see people and just hang out. And then you had another spot over on the Heatfield Road called the Johnson's Calf. Again, another place where you could play Street Fighter, the arcade game. You go get your food, but it's also a spot where people would sell drugs and people could go and buy drugs from. So it was always busy, you know. So
Okay.
those two spots there, you had a group of youths that would frequent in both spots, you know. So, and then the names just kind of come about from that.
And that's all like black people, man. You got some black people that hang outside the Burger Bar. They say, yo, them Burger Bar boys, man. And over years, the name stuck, man.
Burger Bar terrorists, because that's what they were called back then. Burger Bar terrorists. You get me? Because they were a terror. So they were called Burger Bar terrorists.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, we said you were from Winston Green. You moved to
Newtown.
So what was life like in Newtown, but hanging outside the Burger Bar, or was that a problem back then?
Nah, you know, so by the time I've gone over to Newtown, to be fair, more time, I'm just coming straight over to Ladywood, Handsworth, Hockley as a place where I would chill out and hang out. But Newtown, I was starting to build up certain friends over in Newtown. But, you know, coming from, like I says, it was like the Rasta community. You would have, like, in front of us now, we're seeing a lot of kids together. You know, they're coming from different households, and the parents are closely connected, and the kids would get growing up, will get to see that the kids from that household. So that's what it was for me. So although I've moved to Newtown, them youths there from over there, I remember them from when I was 5 and 6 years old, being at their house. So they're who I'm more connected to, you know what I mean, in terms of my upbringing. These guys here, I'm just meeting them. So yeah, I chill with them, like, and smoke a spliff and hold a little talk with them, but I'm not really kicking it with them. My people are over there. That's how I used to see it.
Oh, okay.
My brother now, because he was younger, he can, you know what I mean, mix and blend over there, but he was building a friendship group over here. So he was more building in Newtown. But because of the antics I was going on with, it kind of made him have to choose. And I'm going with my brother and family over there. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So at this point, you got the Saki, sir.
Can just chime in there. So now, like, okay, you know what I mean? One thing I've always learned is that, you know, when you reach about 16, you have this thing where what side are you on? You know what I mean? And you know what I mean, from what you said right there, that wasn't always be a case. So around like what, like a timeline did that start to happen where you was from Handsworth, you couldn't show your face in a certain part from, like, you know, how it was back in the day, as you said?
Okay. So from as I mentioned in the book, like I speak about an incident that took place. There were certain clashes going on, certain fights happening in prison, in the community with individuals. Certain groups were violating man from the other side, but it was low ranking members, so it wasn't nothing that was causing full scale war. Sorry. So I mentioned in the book there's two incidents that take place over a 24-hour period, which now kind of leads to an all-out war amongst the two. So one of the incidents is something happens to me and something happens to someone else, and then from there, it's kind of on-site thing. If we see them, you know what I mean, we're troubling them, and then obviously off the back of that, if they see us, they're troubling us. And then so over the next, I would say 2-3 years, could even make it over the next 5 years, the violence that's going on back and forth in the areas is creating the territory lines amongst them, because Johnson man live in Answorth, Johnson man live in Winston Green, and then there's man from over our side that live over Newtown, Aston, Lozells, so and Erdington. So it's creating the territory lines over those coming years now, where a man's going over to that area and he's going to link his brethren, family. He's probably going to lick a sale, and then he just keeps getting run down. So he knows he can't go back there again. So then now that area becomes a no-go zone. You get what I'm saying?
So sorry to cut you. See, what I come up here, this was established. Like you're saying, when it got to this period.
Yeah, it was getting to that
period. I come on the scene, it was set. You know, I'm from Aston. I went to school in Handsworth. You know what I mean? When I'm walking home, taking my tie off. You know, every school got their own design tie.
Yeah.
You know, everyone would look at each other and go, "Yo, you're from? Why are you going to them schools that was set, man?" So how do you feel about that? Like, you know, how the generation under you was set. You know what I mean? You couldn't be from a certain side. How do you feel about that, knowing as it was your generation that kind of...
You know, I'm full of regret with it. Hence why I wrote the book, to try to give people, number one, an understanding, and why I do the work that I do, because, you know, we have to take accountability. I'm not going to say I'm responsible for each and every level of violence that's taken place since, but I have a hand in the revolving wheel that's led to where, you know, the decline of a community. Because as I said, once upon a time, we were one, we were together, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you're such and such son, how you doing? Tell your mommy I says, you know, it was that vibe. I don't see none of that again. You know, I don't see that. I don't see, you know, Handsworth Park, which was, in terms of a park area, that was the center for the community, and people go there and they're jerking up chicken and people are together. I don't see them vibes. That it's gone, you know what I mean? So for me, I take accountability for my role in things, and I call out the guys that were involved at the time, you know, to take accountability, and we all got to play our role to try and help the community heal and reverse back. But you know, with the other influences which people don't realize that are playing its hand now today, we have got a greater fight than ever before. You know what I mean? So when you look at going slightly digressing a bit, when we look at the corporate companies and the role corporate companies are playing, so when you look at record labels, when we look at clothing brands, they are playing their role to lead us to a, you know, what you call it, genocide amongst us within the community. They encourage and facilitate black youth to chase after black youth because it's a black youth. That's all it is. And if you know, there's 3 songs that have come out this year, 3 rap songs that have come out this year. One song, he says, if I see a black youth from, and then he bleeps it out, gunshots gonna be ringing, no white boys, I'm looking for a racist killing. That's a big artist, a black youth that's saying those bars. And there's a next tune where the man's rapping saying you black ninja, your blackface ninja, and then the reply to that tune, the tune's called Monkey. So this is self-hatred amongst our brothers, you get me? You know, so they're looking at their skin as a negative, and in a sense, we was looking at our skin as a I wouldn't say us. Yeah, to a degree, our skin was a negative, but now it's on a wider scale. So we see a young boy was murdered up the road up Handsworth, and the reason why he was murdered was because he's black. Because if he was a white boy or Asian boy, they wouldn't have stopped him.
That's right.
They wouldn't have troubled him. It's because he was black in that area, so he was murdered. Now I'm a father of 6 children with 4 boys, so I've got to take accountability. I've got to take accountability. 'Cause I'm still here. I still live here.
If I could jump in too, okay. So that kind of it come back to the same thing we was talking about before a little bit, with the separation between the people who was the Windrush generation and then that first generation born in England, and then the Yardies coming up where there's a difference there. You know what I mean? Like the looking down, and you touched on something that's what I was going to ask you next, where we have there are definitely other factors that are involved in our demise, right? And you touched on the corporate element, because now and I was holding this question for later down, but because you brought it, there is a monetary factor on our destruction now. There's like a like you go to the gas station and you buy how much ever liters for whatever price, for whatever unit price. Like there's damn near a unit price on our destruction right now, and it's marketable. It's absolutely marketable. So I want to go a step further. I'm not just holding the corporate people responsible, but would you say religions have failed us? And I would say, I would ask you, I'm posing this question for this reason. The Yardies grew up Christian and the Windrush grew up Christian, and then they raised their families Christian. So how come somewhere in that there's no common ground for us? And it's damn near like the same reason why the Chinese could now prevail, because they Chinese, they Buddha and Buddha, but Buddha look like them. You get the point? The Arabs, they come together, they Muslim and Muslim, but Muhammad is an Arab. You get the point? The Africans, they stick together something ridiculous. The Ethiopians stick together ridiculous because their gods look like them. We're the only people who go into religions that their God is not us. It doesn't look like us. It doesn't come from our culture. And because of it, it fragments us and makes us open prey. So now, at one point, we would fight each other, but we so fly in it. We make it look good. Our lyrics, whether it's rap, grime, dancehall, whatever, we talk about killing somebody and it's poetic. We talk about selling drugs and you would swear it's painting a picture. It's so beautiful how we do it. And then our oppressor decides to make money off of our pain. He decides to make money off of our destruction. And that's where we're at now. So I want to just get from you, how far do you think, not just the corporate world, because before the corporate world, religion was a factor in our destruction.
Yeah.
How far do you think that goes?
For me, Islam was what took me off the roads. So for me, that's where my guidance comes from, and to where I am today, and the principles that I stand by, it comes from that faith there, Islam. I think in terms of faith, it's about the relationship. I think the relationship with God that people have is kind of non-existent in it. So we would put on a religion as with this religion or with that religion, but there's no relationship with the Creator. There's no relationship with God. It's only when things are going hard, that's when people are praying. So I think that, in terms of Christianity or Islam or whatever the faith is that a person's following, it's going to be down to their relationship with their Creator. And in terms of what's going on the streets, then for sure we're 100% lost. But faith, or should I say religion, the corporate side of things, cultural side of things, it's all a big shambles for a community as a whole. But then down to individuals, how they wrap on and understand their faith and move forward. But certainly for myself, and what I've seen in the prisons and within the community, that's where we've seen in terms of Islam as being the guidance for many of us.
I got you. Okay. So
And sorry to cut you. I
No,
mean,
go
like
ahead.
I say, you know, back then, the only thing we heard of was Christianity and Rasta. There was nothing like we didn't hear nothing. You know what I mean? We never see nothing. So late 90s now, that's where Islam was introduced to me, and I was at a stage where, like, on one hand, I got my gun and I'm busting my gun, and I want to shed blood. And on the other hand, I need guidance, and doing what I'm doing is wrong, and I know I'm a better person than this, and I need to understand who I am and what am I on earth for. So I was a lost individual, and fortunately for me, I found that faith, Islam. I didn't know anything about Islam prior to that. I never heard it. I never knew nothing. I think it was mentioned in RE at school, but I don't really remember it. So I didn't hear nothing, and that was a guidance for myself. Fast forward now, we have, you know, the children of Israelites, and there's other faiths that people have become more aware of, and it's going to be a means for them to gain a better understanding of themselves, and for them to be a cause for them to come off road. Because in terms of criminality, there's different things that trigger a person to stop committing offense. So it could be a relationship, it could be a faith, it could be having a child, it could be getting a good job and moving from into a different area. So there's different causes. So for myself and what I've seen with some individuals, then faith, particularly Islamic faith, has been a means for them to step out of the criminality that there was on. We're lost individuals, man. We're just trying to gain an understanding of who we are, why we're on earth, and the direction to go.
I got you. Okay, I hear exactly what you're saying, and I do agree. You know, the older generation, the old school, everything was Christian, and even the Rastafarianism, to a great extent, is just Christianity in a different color. It's basically the same thing. So, you know, you would there wasn't. It was just like stepping, you know, from the left side of the street to the right side of the street, not making a turnaround as much, and then. Go ahead.
And if you know, like, there was a time where, you know, we'd be like and you know, be kind of working with the Rastafarian quotes, but we don't have an understanding of what it means to be of that faith, or, you know, in terms of how to pray and
that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it's so close. That's why I'm saying it's so close to Christianity. Because Christianity have a whole ton of sayings. God is good all the time. God is good. All these sayings, but you don't know what to do. You're just going through something. And it's because we do not see ourselves in these teachings. We can't, there's nothing to identify with. And, you know, so and what you were saying before, where it's like, you on the road, you're doing your thing. You steal what you, and, you know, whatever come, you ready for it. But really, in you don't want to live like that. So you're looking for the best exit.
It's not natural.
It's not natural to always be on defense. Nobody, it's higher stress level, sleeping habits go, your eating habits go. Really, it's psychological warfare damn near that's going on with you. So you're looking for the best exit. And for some people, that exit was, as you say, religion. And that usually it meets a brother when he incarcerated. You get the point?
Yeah.
Another thing might be a woman, but it's not so much that the woman trigger it. You was always looking for the exit, but this exit, it come at the right time, so I'll take it. It might be a job, as you say. It might be the death of a loved one. It might be, you know, you get shot now, you can't walk no more. Something happened, and you decide, you know what? I'm taking it here. I'm done because I don't want to do this anyway. But okay, so now it's damn near like, okay, I watched the interview. Everybody familiar with Vlad, right? You know Vlad TV will be doing them interviews, right? That he's definitely an oppressor, and he is another one who capitalizes off of our destruction.
Yes,
because I've never seen Vlad interview Lehman Brothers, who stole billions of dollars from America and caused the stock market to crash in 2009. I never seen Vlad interview, you know, school shooters or school shooter parents. He always interviews us because we the ones to pick and prey on. And again, we make everything look fly. We made Ethiopians popular, not Selassie. You understand?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Yardis or Jamaicans or Benjamites on the whole, according to the Bible and our faith in our records, the brothers and sisters of the West Indies, the Caribbean islands, outside of Haiti and Puerto Rico and Cuba, they're from the tribe of Benjamin. The Benjamites made Ethiopians eat today. They made them popular. You get the point? Judah made Islam popular. You get the point? When I say popular to everybody else outside of that Eastern Hemisphere. Malcolm X damn near is more popular than any one of their, their leaders, their religious leaders today. Malcolm X, they'll wield more power amongst our people. Like we take something and take it to the next level just because we the salt of the earth, we the Lord's people. So now I'm saying that to say this. I'm watching this Vlad interview, and he is interviewing this Chinese quote-unquote gangster named China Mac. Right? You could look it up. And China Mac recalls how they would sell drugs, but they would never sell drugs in their own community. And they would leave and go to the other communities and sell drugs, talking about the black communities. So Vlad asked him, why is that? He said, well, you don't want that poison among your people. And then Vlad said, oh, okay. And then he caught himself and he said, well, it's not really that. We don't want to make our neighborhood hot. You start selling, the cops come and now our neighborhood is hot. So we go, or across there and sell over there so their neighborhood could be hot, which is BS. He already admitted it's okay to poison another race versus his own race. So now, just from your experience and even, the walk you take spiritually now, how much do you think race matters versus religion, or race matters at all in terms of, a community being strong?
I think obviously the creators created various races in it, so and it's created for us to learn from each other, and so race plays its role, and it's quite evident that the knife crime, when knife crime takes place and the gun violence takes place in our communities, it's the black community that feels it, and it's the black community that is hit the hardest. And likewise with the way that they're perpetuating violence across the music, it's the black people, the black community that, again, it's always their face and they're impacted. So race 100% plays its role, and we can't ignore it, and we can't ignore it. But we as a race have to take ownership and responsibility to make to fix things up. And the problem what we've got is, because of the distractions that so many people are on, and because there's the hearts are not awakened, because there is no connection with the creator, it's we were at a loss, and we're at a great loss. And I can't see, in terms of remedy. That's why I just do what I can do and help and support who I can support, because each one of us has got our responsibilities, and if we all take upon ourselves in terms of responsibilities, then we can make things better for us as a community. I take on the community in terms of the Afro-Caribbean community, but I also take on the Islamic community within my city. So I try to invest and to make a good contribution to both communities, and in both communities, Afro-Caribbean is affected. So that's what I do, bro. That's what I do.
Well, that's kind of my point. Like race, I think when you really let the dust settle and you sift through everything, race is the start and the end of it all. And I'm gonna say this why, because just even to go back to your point, you said both the Islamic community and the Afro-Caribbean community, you realize it's our people that's affected. Like I haven't seen or ever heard of an Arab writing a book like yours because he's sorry about what's happening to black people. And I know there are Arabs bringing in a lot of heroin and drugs and guns into the UK. I know there are Pakis doing it. I know there are Ethiopians, there are Russians doing it. And none of them have ever been moved with compassion to say, you know what, man? These people built England in the Windrush for us to come here. These people fought the police and got all sorts of minority and civil rights passed So my old decrepit Polish grandmother could come here. Now I could be a big don, I could be a gangster, I could be a G, but nobody looks at me because I'm white. Let me put something to help these young black brothers and black women and black men. I don't see it, but you see it because you black, and that kind of trumps everything. Even though you have you have the different directions that you choose to go in, there's one thing: me, you, Karathia, Parashia, Dumgaba, Shamgar, the sisters, the children. There's one thing in life we don't have a choice in, and that's our race. That's our nationality. You get the point? Who we are, wherever we go, you are that first. Even you, I'm sure you would have experienced it just being Muslim, that even when you go into the Islam community, you black first before you get the point. So no, that's what I'm saying.
The fault of the people, though. Yeah,
Say again?
I mean, that's the fault of the people. In terms of that within the Islamic community, but in terms of for us as a community, we don't even have the leaders to inspire and to speak out against. So for instance, we would have artists. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the music, because the music I see is so influential amongst the young people today.
Definitely.
So we're not really seeing people standing up against the artists and calling them out. So the fact that they've actually those bars there, that's leading to destruction within the community. That's gonna cause the death and the loss of another young black person's life because of those bars, because of those lyrics. And we're not even standing up against that. We're not calling to it, because these people are agents, and that's what they are. They're agents. Once they get a record deal, they're agents and they're devils.
If I could right there, and that's why I say race is so important, because even the very word race, if you look at the other context, it means to compete in some physical endeavor to win. That's what race is, like a 100-meter race or a 400-meter race. It means to compete to win. And I think we've lost that context when we look at nationality. We in the race, but we trying to help everybody else win, when we should be trying to help ourselves win. Let me go back to the music, as you said. Even in the music, at one time, we was calling for destruction of the other races. Burning Spear had a song, Christopher Columbus is a damn blasted liar. Burn down Sodom, fire and brimstone upon a Babylon. But that was overshadowed by Bob Marley with One Love, One Heart, let's get together and be all right. So now you can't even voice the oppression of your people at the expense of another people without being looked at funny. Meanwhile, these people set up economic structures to keep us back, educational structures to keep us back, physical structures to keep us back. And they are not looked at as like they're racist. They're not looked at as, what they're doing is wrong. But the minute we talk about it, the minute we make a song about it, just talking, now we the problem. You know what I mean? Like Vybz Kartel had a song, Poor People Land. I don't know, you're familiar with it?
No.
You might want to check it out. And that was a big song, brother. I mean, a huge song. And he came out about 4 years ago, where he was saying Jamaica belongs to the sons of slaves. Where Matalan come from, where the Chinese man come from, where the East Indian come from. They didn't pick cotton, they didn't cut no cane. How come they own the land and now they putting me off and calling me a squatter? You must check it out. It's called Poor People Land. No, it ain't get a whole ton of ratings and push international, because he's talking about the plight of black people who deserve something their foreparents work for.
Yeah.
But now you have other nations that could come in and capitalize off of it. And that's why I say it's time for us to start to hold race first. You know what I mean? And in the Israelite school at UPK, brother, we hold race first. Me and you might have a different idea or ideology spiritually. But brother, you my brother at the end of the day. And I know if somebody commits a crime in Birmingham right now, both of us are suspects.
That's right.
Without the cops even knowing who committed the crime, they're stopping me and you. So at that time, my belief and your belief don't matter. at that time, it's our race that matters. And I think that's where our healing really starts. That's where the turnaround really starts. When we start to look at these other nations as the enemies that they are. And when I say the enemies, I ain't telling you go burn down the business. You ain't got to do that because there's some called insurance. They'll get that building back. But what I'm saying is don't buy from him. Arab, don't buy nothing from him. Let him starve. Let him go down to what's the thing you all have? Universal credit. Let him go down and apply to universal credit. Let him go and put his name on the list for the council house. But that brother or that sister who's selling food, it might be more expensive, but it's more expensive because they don't have the network these Africans or these Ethiopians have. They have a network where they're getting bulk of food for less. And with all the crime that they involved in that nobody talking about, they're able to wash their money and get cheap food. So of course you could pay £3-4 for a big plate of food when you're paying double that by the Benjamite restaurant. You know, you get the point? Right. The Hispanic restaurant. I'm saying we could put them on their knees without touching them, just by being race first. You walk in there, you see, you know, Jamaican colors or St. Lucian colors on the front of the store. But when you walk in there, it's Apu. What do you want today? Walk the fuck up. Excuse my language. It's just, oh, well, all right, no sweat. Go the extra mile so that your people could eat first. That's right. You understand? Some people say I'm extra rough, but I want their children to starve. I want their children to have nights where they're hungry and cry. And you know why? We grew up on that.
That's right.
Every song, man, from back in the day, listen, how they used to build the damn speakers and the equipment, the things we would have to do because we were so poor. They didn't care about us, but they want us to spend our money with them. No, we had to be race first. We had to be race-oriented first, and that's how they are. You look at how they are, that's how they are, and that's why they get ahead, because life is a race. Life is war. Life is competition. And we now looking at each other like the competition instead of them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's why I say race plays a huge card in this thing. You get me?
Okay.
So, if I could, I just want to ask you a few questions about the book too. You know what I mean? I know in the Brotherhood chapter, right?
Yeah.
Not to get into too much detail, but there was a part in there where I think you mentioned it a couple of times where you said it was such a shock to some people around that you were Muslim. And you said it could, I think you was alluding to how you looked and your activity. If you could explain more of that part, like, okay, who was the people that were more shocked?
I'm thinking. Let me go. I'm just recapping in my head. It's the people that were already Muslim,
right?
But seeing that I had, you know what I mean, they were familiar with who I am. Like, oh, you know what I mean, just shocked that, oh wow, good to see you. You know what I mean, but they were shocked to see me come through the door. A lot of, like, at the time when I turned my life around, my name was ringing. You know, I was knee deep, man. So my turnaround, it just come like that, because obviously in my head and in my heart, I'm thinking of a particular way, but my actions were in the opposite. So then all of a sudden now, you know, one day you see me walking, and you know, those who know me knew when I had my gun, I would wear particular clothing, have particular accessories on they would know that I've got a gun. So then all of a sudden now you see me walking in different attire, and it's like, huh? It's like, huh? You know, what's going on? So that's where, you know, a lot of people in the community, they were saying I got mad. You know, people were saying I've gone mad. The way my actions have just switched, like from here to there. Just like, I remember I seen one female that I was talking to, and she see me on the bus, and she was just looking at me like, is that really him? Like, we never says a word to each other. I just got on the bus. She looked at me. I seen a look on her face, and I was kind of unsure about myself at the time. You know what I mean? Weary, and I just sat down and I just put my head down and I just carried on the bus journey. And you know what I mean? So it was a lot. It was a shock to many people that I just suddenly just switched like that and just took on the faith. And at the time, like I says, no, there weren't no Muslims. It's just, you know what I mean? You probably like people were confusing the mosque and the temple as one thing. So you know, you wouldn't know the difference between a Sikh, Hindu, and Muslim. Like we just never, you know what I mean? We just didn't.
It was
know
an ignorant piece. It was an ignorant part there where we was just ignorant to it.
Yeah,
And
big time, man.
It seemed like a surprise to other people, but really, you've been planning to get out for a minute. So
you know, yeah, just shots are ringing. You know, life's in danger.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm the only one going back to Newtown, and when I go back to Newtown, I have to go home with my gun.
Right.
And every night I'm wondering, are these fools gonna come and kick off my door?
Right.
Are these fools gonna run up on me? I don't know. And then I'm thinking, yo, is the boy them, the police them gonna run up? And when I say fools, I'm speaking back then. That's how my mindset.
Of course. I get what you're
my
saying.
brothers now, you know what I mean?
Of
They
course.
good peoples, man. And you know, I'm thinking about the police and getting run down by police, and life was hectic, man. You know, life was hectic, and it's unnatural to live that way, to be seeking to harm people and knowing people are trying to harm you, and you're basically living for the day. You've got no plans for next year, no plans for becoming an adult. It's just, yo, I'm just trying to get through today, yo.
It's crazy.
And that's how it was. That's how man was living.
And around what age? What age was that where you started to turn around? Like, in your life, around what age was that for you?
19
is when you started to say, you know what? Let me switch this around. So okay, so just you know, the average 19-year-old, he's young, he's strong, he's confident. You know, you have that on your side. You don't have the experience. Go ahead.
Yeah, at 19, that was my third time in prison. You know, I had a good girl by my side. Her name's Samaya in the book. Good girl by my side, and you know, it's when you know, you know you don't recognize you got something till it's gone. You don't recognize you got something good until it's gone. So I'm in jail now. I'm sitting down with man in prison, and I got this good girl. This good girl, and you know what I mean, and here I am with a bag of man. What is this? And is a sister that is really down for me,
right?
You know what I mean? Really, like I felt it.
If I could, she was black. She was a Jamaican or from the Caribbean? Okay, no sweat. That's tight. Okay, so like around that age, you start getting that that UK, that push to move in a different direction. And
I fell in love, man. I mean, let me just keep it real, man. I fell in love.
Give him a hand, give him a hand. Listen, there's no shame. There ain't no shame in that thing. That's what the Lord put us here for. That's what the Lord put us here for. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But I never truly feel it licked me when I'm around with a bag of man, like you know what I mean? So I wanted to, and also my mom said she ain't coming back to the jail. This is the third time in now. I was in jail when I was 16, come out, 17, come out, and then back 19, and in between that, you know, I had a serious incident where, you know, my life could have cost me my life. So Mommy's getting fed up, man. I don't need to see the pain in mommy's eyes. I can hear it in her voice, and I'm recognizing these people that love and care for me. And all I'm doing is hurting everybody, and I don't even know why I'm hurting everyone for.
Right.
I'm not getting nothing from it because all I'm doing is sitting down in jail, and then I'm sitting down in jail, and I'm not seeing the man them come and visit me. But I just been rapping for man them.
Right.
I'm in jail for a man. You know what I mean? So it's like it's I just started to weigh things up and started to see the reality of things, and like, yo, there's more to life. Life can be a beautiful thing if I can just sort myself out and head in the right direction. So it's from that point there the searching really started for me.
I got you. And okay, for you at any point, like how you say, okay, you there and the homies you're rolling with, they ain't really, they start to fall off. Maybe they might come in the beginning, but they ain't coming like they used to. They ain't, you know, they probably ain't putting nothing. I don't know how the system is over there, but if you're putting money on people, the commissary, they ain't doing none of that. But at any time, and I know, of course, the initial thing would be like, damn, they abandoned you. But at any time between then and now, have you ever looked at it like the people who rule over us is setting a certain system up where they play like a numbers game, where statistically speaking, certain amount of people will end up in your shoes by that age, if not dead. And now the anger is towards them. It's like, when I say anger, I'm making it clear. This is not violent anger, but now more so that you are my enemy. You the reason I'm in here. You the one I need to separate from. You the one I need to not be like. Because really, as black people, we learned that gangster shit from the Italians. We learned that gangster shit from the Irish, from the white man. Like, that's who we all aspire to be like. Scarface, Tony Montana, Lucky Luciano. You get the point? Like, that's who we aspire to be like. And that sort of thing is natural for them. They love that type of life, but that ain't natural for us. So at any time did it, you know, occur to you, once again, did the race thing come into play of, we have a people who rule over us in an oppressive way. And the way they rule over us damn near forces us to make whatever decisions we make, because there are people from other backgrounds that damn near do the same thing we do and worse. And they don't end up like how we end up.
That didn't really come into my in my thought pattern back then. That was like my last sentence. The last time I went to jail was the final occasion. That's when I started to see the power structures of that. I started to recognize that. But at that time, I kind of just recognized that, you know, man, I'm on roads. You know, as much as it hurt me, you know, I'm in my feelings. That's how it goes. Man, I'm on road. I know when I come out, the man them have got me, and that was kind of like how the system amongst us was kind of set. The 1 and 2 mans would go and check you. They will send you money, but the wider group, they ain't really got you until when you get that return home. So we look at recently Bobby Schmurder returning home, Rowdy Rebel, two artists, them coming home, and the way everyone celebrated with them. But I know for most of their sentence, they ain't see them people. They ain't hear from them. But it's like when you come home now, you get the heroes welcome home. I got that on those 3 occasions when I come up, all the man are there, you know, and it's a celebration. But whilst I did my sentence, you gotta run that own.
You're doing that by yourself. Okay, so now even in that, now if I could jump ahead, so like a crafty, you want to jump in with something?
A little something later, a little fun something later, but I don't know what to say.
No sweat. With that, now I know there's another part. I think it was in the chapter Damage, if I'm not pronouncing it right. I think it's Damage. Okay, where there's a part in there where, and this that chapter, did it refer to that same 19-year, 20-year period?
No.
That was later on.
Because this is later on now. So
around what age that was?
Just to give the reader, future readers, understanding, each chapter is more or less 24 hours. So within that 20, I'm giving them an insight into like a 24 hours of my, you know what I mean, what's gone on in my life at various stages. So where the magic is now, that's at a next stage. So I'm actually like 21 at that age there in the match, and that's where you know, I've gone to a country called Yemen. That's where the match is. It's in Yemen. So yeah.
Okay, so there's a part in there where you say, okay, with the match, you would go into Yemen. You thought that it would make you better. It would help you. It would help you more so to, you know, to handle the sentence or the time.
No. So I don't wanna give too much away.
Okay, let's do that.
I want people to buy the book, read the book.
Buy the book, man. So sorry.
Listen, please, if I could, let me just plug it right here. When the brothers first sent me the information for the book, I was expecting something totally different. If you want a good read from a certain perspective, going through time, it's damn near like as I'm reading it, I could hear somebody talking the words I'm reading. Like it's written in a way, it's well written for us. That's what I would say. We would be able to identify with the struggles, the pains, the confusion, the disappointment. The way he lays it out is a very decent book, and it makes you want to ask more questions. It makes you want to hear more. You know what I mean? Like I thought, this was one of the cookie cutter motivational bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not that. You know what I mean? Because what you doing. A lot of people use it as a hustle. It's damn near like an Instagram thing, like an influencer thing for some people. So when I was reading it, I was like, let me see. My expectations wasn't this, but the book is really like having a conversation with a brother. Imagine you meet somebody on a plane over a long trip, and he just telling you, well, yeah, this happened, that happened, and it reads just like that. It reads just like that, and he ain't saying go left, go right. He telling you what he went through.
And that's it. And at the time when obviously the books come out, a lot of people were kind of feeling a bit unsettled and a bit nervous because they thought I was going to talk about, the details of certain stuff. But what I'm trying to do is give parents an understanding of how their child can get caught up into that lifestyle, give teachers an understanding, give, the youth an understanding of, okay, yeah, I can relate to that, but this is how to exit, and some there's parts where I'm speaking about how I'm feeling, and some of the young bucks have says, yeah, you know what, I'm kind of feeling like that now. So I'm like, okay, well, so now I know they're at this point where they want to exit, they want to come out, but they just don't know. So for me, I didn't know. That's why the faith was what enabled me to exit. Otherwise, I didn't have no other. I was prepared to just basically war with man till I'm gone, or take out whoever I can take out. That's what and I thought I can get out in that way. You know what I mean? So go into your question though. The match that's at a period where I'm on the run. So it's not. I'm basically trying to fix up myself as an individual because I know the inevitable is gonna come. So I need to
listen. When I saw that
how many years I did, but you know what I mean. Yeah,
you thought it would have ended. I get you. Listen, when I read that part, I was like, hold up, who we have in here? We have Mission Impossible man in here. He only run to Yemen. I'm like, but goddamn,
crazy.
It's crazy. It's a good book. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie. I was like, well, goddamn, because at first I thought this was, it was like metaphorical for something else. But as I keep reading, I was like, no, he's really, doing this. So okay, so why Yemen at that point?
At that time, it was really the place. I mean, I never really thought of going abroad, at the time, but the people that I was around, that was being mentioned in numerous conversations, that people were traveling over there and they were learning about the faith. So I'm like, I'm a freshie, what I mean? I'm still walking around with a gun in my one pocket, you know what I mean? And then I've got the Bible in another pocket, and I've got the Quran in another pocket. So I'm still trying to figure things out. You know what I mean? I'm still prepared to shoot on site, and I'm still, knowing that people are going to try and take me out if they get the opportunity to. So it was like, then I know that the police want me for, for what I've done. So, you know what? This makes sense. Let me go there. Let me try this. So it was kind of like me going to better myself and to get an understanding of what is this that I've embraced into, get a proper understanding, but also, I need to duck from the Jakes. I need to duck from the police, and it's better if I'm out the country. And so that's why I took that move.
Okay. And so at that time, you didn't really make make a full decision on Islam yet. You was just trying to really get away from your circumstance, and it just so happened this was.
No, I think that was that was most definitely the direction I wanted to go in at the time, but it was very convenient that I'm also, you know what I mean, I'm trying to duck the police as well. So
I got you. I got you. And okay, coming back now, right? Let's say, coming back, did you have any concern? Because I'm not sure the time period this is, but I know, after so-called, and this is not to cast aspersion or throw any shade or anything, I just want to hear from you. Did you have any reservations of being associated or grouped in with jihadi or being trained over there now to be used against the British government? Because you know that's definitely, that was something, a huge concern worldwide at one point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what I didn't put in the book, again, because I was trying to keep it as a theme with the 24 hours kind of theme. So, but what I didn't put in is when I did come to the faith of Islam, there was two sets of brothers. So there's one set that are coming from a more orthodox standpoint, and there was another set who came through a family friend who were on the extremist level. So when I was going to some of their lessons, it's actually a house in Handsworth. I was going to some of the lessons when I was sitting there, and I suppose this kind of plays into the race thing, because when I was sitting there and they were, talking about, the warped side and the extreme teachings, I'm sitting there thinking, well, if I'm gonna rep anybody, I'm gonna rep my boys that I've just left. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to war with no one. If I'm warring with anyone, I'm warring with my boys. And then I spoke to one of the brothers about what they were teaching me, and then he just broke it down to me. So from there, I distanced myself from them. So that was my first initial, and that was like within the first month to 2 months of me taking change. So I already had a little slight understanding that there's an extreme side to some of these Muslims, but I weren't. At the same time, it weren't something at the forefront. So when I went to Yemen, which was in early part of 2001, I returned back just before September the 11th.
Right.
So
and that's what triggered everything.
Yeah. So if I had come back after September the 11th,
we wouldn't be having a conversation. There would be no book. There would be no book.
It would be very different. But because I came back just before, and then September the 11th happened, and I was like, wow, people do it. Like, it was a shock to me, like it would have been, because I'm still new and I didn't know there was these elements, you know what I mean, within people that claim to the cause claim to the faith. So I experienced it more when I was in jail, because obviously, eventually, so when I was in jail, I experienced that throughout my sentence. Being black and being Muslim in jail was a disadvantage for me, and I felt that throughout my sentence.
Definitely, and it's so heavy, because your reason for going to Islam was to escape something. Their reason for going into it was to go to war with whoever they thought was their oppressor.
Yeah,
you get the point. Like it's two different sides, two different motivations, but they want you to join them because you are a body. It's like you're expendable.
Yeah, I mean they're criminal entity in it with that's putting a cloak over themselves, calling themselves, you know what I mean, of this faith and of that they're Muslims. But the reality is they're criminals, and whether I'm on a plane or I'm on a bus, they're killing me. They're killing you.
Exactly.
They're killing you. So we know that what people don't realize is they've caused more terrorist attacks in their own in Muslim countries, you know what I mean, across over the years since September 11th. They've ravaged some of those countries with their acts of violence and acts of terror. So they're criminals, man. And I recognize that when I was sitting with a couple who were trying to educate me to a warped on. I recognize, these men are. I just looked at this. These men are a gang, and they wanna rep something. And if I'm gonna rep anybody, I'm repping my boys that I'm stepping away
from.
Back to race. And listen, we always come back to each other no matter where we try to go. We always know when things really hit the, when the rubber meets the road, that brother or sister who looks like me, that's what's important. You know what I mean? So, okay, I just want to segue into something and then come right back. So, Sumaya chapter was, it was good. It's good you put it in the book too, because boy, the thing, man, listen, regardless of what anybody think, a black man is a black man is a black man. Only a black man could write the way a black man write. Only he could say them things he say. What's going on with Sumaya now? Pause. All right. I won't take it back. He stopped too much. He stopped a little bit too much. Okay, I'm going to skip this. Go ahead.
Sumaya passed away.
My fault, brother.
No, it's cool. Sumaya passed away.
My fault. I apologize. But I think it was a much needed chapter of, of the book. It shows the human side to us. It shows a very, very human side of how a brother could feel, his attachment, even her reaction when you try to step away. You know what I mean? Like her reaction when you try to step away was reminiscent of what really, as you said before, the black community used to be.
Yeah,
there wasn't a pride there. There was, it was a more humility and more sincerity.
Yeah, and I think she played a massive role within my life at that period. So that's like a backbone structure that previously I wouldn't have acknowledged or been able to identify and recognize. And so I wanted to just be real and raw and honest within the book, within each chapter. And in a sense, it's like an apology, because writing the book, I didn't recognize previously damage that I had done to some of my loved ones. So I had to just face some of my past actions, some of my behaviors, and understand the destruction that it caused. And so yeah, man. So I hope that people who read the book, especially young people, can identify and say, you know what, I ain't going down that route there. This is what seems trendy. This is what seems cool, but the end result, nah, I'm not even on that. Let me gain some strength and step away and do my own thing.
What was it? Was it more so? Or was it also not more so? I know you said it was like an apology, but was it also like not homage, but like a kind of respect, like a tribute to her?
Yeah,
then
100% for sure, 100%. And I contacted the family. I let them know from the get-go. They was involved in the process, knowing what was going to be put in. They didn't know what was going to be put in the book, but they read the book before the book was put out. And I got their go ahead. So if I didn't get their go ahead, the book wouldn't have come out. It would have had to be rewrite.
I got you. All right. So just
sorry. When somebody, when you don't write your own story, someone will write it for you. And over the years, especially for the city of Birmingham, we've been hearing about Burger Bar Boys and Johnsons. We've been hearing about all this inner city vibe, and it's never coming from us who have experienced it. And I just say, you know what, I'm gonna talk the thing, because in where we're from, no one's talked this before. So it's always been like media will put their little spin on things, and then you got like one white police officer, he wrote a book talking about Burger Bar and Johnson's, and then there was an Asian man, he's writing a book talking about, and like, nah, you know what, y'all are making things up, and you're not being accurate. So you know what, I'm gonna talk from my perspective and give an honest, viewpoint as a person who no one can't say I didn't experience those things.
Right.
No one
can't say I wasn't there. I was there and I experienced those things. So I'm going to share with people what really happened. And as a result, which I wanted, because I actually, a rival Johnson's member, I asked him to write the book with me. So mine and his story would be in the book simultaneously. But in the end, it never happened. But as a result, he's now taking writing the book for himself more seriously. And then there's other individuals that are saying, you know what, I want to write a book because you know what I mean? And even there's one female who's been involved and she wants to write a book, and you know, it's a part of healing as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's therapeutic. It's like what is it like? He's always says catharsis. That's what it says down there. Like you get out of you because this is something still in your mind, even though you know what I mean? So you could put it out there, and it's down there, as you say, it's closure, it's healing. You let people know what it is. You know what I mean? Even I think in that brotherhood chapter you mentioned that Johnson crew a lot, even even being incarcerated with, you know, certain things was happening.
And you know there's a lot of guys, Johnson guys, that I'm really close with now, and it's just crazy because they have the same struggles. You know what I mean? They look just like me. They've got the same struggles. Their parents have had the same struggles. We neighbors out back home in Jamaica, and trying to kill him because he from over there. He trying to kill me because I'm from over there. It just don't make no sense.
It don't make no sense. Exactly. If I could, even Dumgaba, I don't know if Dumgaba, he's still in there?
Yeah, he's in the back, sir.
Call Dumgaba. I don't know if you want to tell this story. Dumgaba told me a story a couple of years ago about a family reunion he went to, you know, without giving any names and details. He come up yet?
It's coming now, sir.
You know, Dumgaba, I don't know if you remember, he had told me a story about a family reunion and went to, I think it was somebody died and everybody came for the, you know, the 9 nights or whatever. But without, you know, giving the names and too much details, I don't know if you remember, you told me what had happened there where, you know, certain people realized who they were. Yeah, if you could come through on this, if you remember, without, you know, calling any names. And when Dumgaba told me the story, I was like, we the people of this Bible, we the Israelites are. You remember what I'm talking about, Dumgaba?
Come on, sir. Yeah, come on, sir.
If you could, let's slide the camera a little bit to the left so you can get the brother on. If you could, if you could just, you know, repeat the whole thing without calling any names or anything.
I believe it was the story of when a brother robbed another brother.
No, I think it was a funeral. It was a 9 night for somebody who died. It was like a family reunion, and you there with one side of the family, the other side pull up, and they was two rivals who was shooting at each other or would, and only because go ahead.
So at a family reunion, basically you had gang members from Handsworth and Newtown, and then because it was a family reunion and something happened with the surname, no one knew those related, and then they pulled up and it was kind of like getting ready to go into it until someone's come. Is it the same story where someone's come out and was like,
yeah,
family? They've come out and said, use like a family. This is your first cousin. This is such and such's whatnot, and they're looking at each other like, hold on, but he's done something to my friends and I've done something to his friends, and then they're getting ready to go into it, but they realized that those family. Is the same story, sir?
Yeah, that's it. Like that should blow my mind out. Like once again, without our identity, you know what I mean? So what took that one? Don't go back for them stories too. Easy, next one we gotta get to write a book. Like without that identity, without that thing that we could identify with, a man who looks like me and you becomes the opposition. When really it's them. Like we had to take this, we had to come together and cripple them by staying together and not messing with them at all. And that's the only way our community could strive, our community could grow, our community could be safe, our community could be protected from that outside influence, insulated from that outside influence. Because without that, we open prey to them, and they will never stop. As long as there's money to be made over us, they'll continue making the money and not stop it.
And there'll always be money to be made over us, so they will always continue. So we have to wake up and unify.
Definitely. You know what I mean? Again, brother, I appreciate you coming on. I definitely appreciate you, willing to sit with us, even through the questions. I know a lot of people ask you about the book. The book is definitely surprised me. I did not think it would have been the way it was. I think anybody who's definitely interested, just to hear from the other side firsthand, it's a good read. It's a good read. You can definitely give brother some support. Once again, our ideologies are different, but today is not a day where we're going to come butt heads over Islam versus the God of the Bible. That wasn't the purpose of this today. I know some people watching, they're gonna be like, man, you let him come in there and sit amongst you all. Hell yeah, because his parents was on the slave ship with mine.
That's right.
That's why
and likewise, someone will say, oh, well, I shouldn't be sitting with you guys. But again, we're all coming from the same struggle.
That's right.
This right now is affecting, as you says, it is a race. It is a race that is being targeted. It is being destroyed. And each and every one of our children, America, England, they're sending another black youth to kill.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Yep, on the basis of they're black, or just put them in the system to become free labor, or make a whore out of our daughters, make a lesbian or homosexual out of our children. And that's what we had to realize first. Like, we're gonna sort out certain things, but at the end of the day, we are brothers and sisters, the same blood, and that's where it starts. You start recognizing your race, your God, your father. Once it's like an orphan. If you have children who don't have a father, but they're the same, they come from the same family. When they come together, they're gonna start looking for their father. And it's the same thing with us. Like we don't have our God. We never was raised with our power, our God. Even though you had a Bible in your hand, I'm speaking from my perspective. Christianity didn't teach us what the Bible says, because what Christianity teaches is not in the Bible. You understand? Christianity teaches, God had sex with Mary and made Christ. The Bible says Joseph had sex with Mary. The Bible says Christ was black. You get the point? The Bible says the white man is the devil. Christianity does not teach that. So now, when you have a people starting to come together because of the race, because of we're family, we start looking for our father. And at that point in time, he will repeat in America, in England, wherever we are, what he did to Egypt. You understand? What he did to Egypt was destroy Egypt for the sake of our people, because Egypt was destroying us for the sake of them. And that's the paradigm we live in. Our destruction is tied to the success of these empires. Like everybody love Marcus Rashford. Everybody, celebrate him, big striker for Manchester United. But without extreme poverty, there would be no Marcus Rashford. Because he was poor and, he grew up how he grew up, he put his focus on football to get out of his condition. Another brother put his focus on the gun and whatever else in the street. But the poverty drives us in certain directions. And now he makes money for Manchester United, and a brother who makes another choice goes to prison and makes money for the state for free. Both are a result of our oppression. Our oppression is tied to the success of our oppressors, to whether it's UK or America. And the only way that they would stop oppressing us is for us to come together. And guess what? In the future, we are going to oppress them. And that's something I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to slaves and a kingdom and being able to trade people on the stock market. I tell the brothers, listen, it sounds funny. I want to trade these oppressors' babies on the stock market like they traded mine. I want to do it. I want to feel what that feels like. And I'm not talking about kicking in somebody's door now and doing it. I'm talking about righteously. And when we're in power, they're going to be tried for the crimes they did to us, for all the slavery, for all the drugs they put in our neighborhood, all the guns, all the raping, the molestation. They are going to be tried for it, and they're going to be sentenced. I want to feel what that feels like, because they get to feel it every day. And because of the people I come from, I have to definitely continue how I am to raise my people up. So, for anybody who wanted to see a bloodbath of Islam today, come to camp. When we go on the street, we do that. But for everybody else, our brothers and sisters who would believe in something else, we could sit down with each other and talk as black men about our people. you know what I mean, we could recognize the total oppression, and that's what we definitely had today. And again, I want to thank you for coming on. And
Thank you, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
being such a gracious guest, and we love to have you back again. You know, please, you know, once you release the second one, let us know. You know, even the stuff you're doing in the community. I heard you did a youth lecture today.
No, today we had young people around at the center. It's COVID lockdown, but you know, we still having young people in. We're still working with young people every day. They come in, they're playing on the PlayStation. They come in, they're climbing the wall. We're doing physical activities. You know what I mean? And we're having lessons with them. You know, talking to them and raising awareness. So every day the mentoring continues with young people because of COVID. That ain't stopped no violence on the streets. People still dying on the streets.
Give him a hand, man. This brother, I'm telling you, he's a black man. This is an Israelite right here. I'm gonna make it my personal mission. I'm gonna take you away from that Islam. Salakia. Pause, no homo. But I'm gonna take you away from that Islam, man. Listen, COVID does not stop the curses we experience for being God's chosen people. It ain't stop what we go through. It ain't stop knife crime. It ain't stop drugs. It ain't stop hoeing and prostitution. Like COVID is the least of our worries. I ain't saying go out there and be reckless, but really we have more things. They ain't got no vaccine for knife crime.
That's right.
They ain't got no vaccine for black on black crime. They ain't got vaccine for none of that. You know what I mean? So go ahead.
Did you? I don't know if you received the news. 3 days ago, 300,000 bullets were robbed from a lorry on the outskirts of Birmingham.
Wow.
A lorry with 300,000 bullets was robbed.
And who that's
just
for?
Outside of Birmingham 3 days ago.
You know where that's going.
Imagine that. Who that's for?
So, you know, this stuff's being manufactured. The gun quarters is just up the road from where we are now.
Right.
The first shotgun I own says made in Aston, Birmingham. You know, so it's we're at war. We're at war.
That's it.
We've got, you know what I mean? Like
we definitely like the more you dive into it, there's only one common factor. That wherever our problems are, our oppressor is right there. We are at war with a people who hate us and would love to see us die. And, you know, again, big up to you for the work you do with the youth. You know, we have a food program too where we are, you know, have food. The brothers could definitely, before you go, I would like to just link up with them. If we could, you know, somehow we work with you still, we could provide food to, you know, for our people, because our people are in need. And as you rightfully said, we don't have righteous leadership. But in the Israelite school of UPK, the head of the school is Commandant General YAHANNA. You see his name on that sign outside, and it's up there for a reason. Because Commandant General YAHANNA is a man who devoted his whole life for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and to raise them up as the 12 tribes of Israel for the Lord to return and give us what is our just dues. He's the man who changes lives. We have prison programs all over in America, in the islands, in Brazil, food programs, international food programs, food going left, right, and center. We really doing this work. Why? Because our oppressor, this so-called white man, and his oppressors, the East Indians, the Arabs, the Africans, they work together to make sure we stay on the bottom. We working together to make sure they cannot make merchandise out of us. And we will not let it happen. So you know what I mean? Again, big up to you, and
thank you.
I don't know. I'm gonna be working tirelessly. I'm gonna find a way. You know, book number 5, How I Left Islam. I'm a prophet.
Oh,
you know what I mean? But ain't no sweat. Listen, Lord Allah, once they lift this ban, I'm gonna be on a plane straight to Birmingham. You know, I hope when I come there, you know, if your schedule allow, sometime you sit down and kick it a little bit. You know what I mean?
I'd love to host you at the building, and you know, you guys all come down. We got facilities for the children as well to come and climb an indoor climbing wall, which is 14 meters tall. So,
we can get with that.
The kids, man, the kids.
The Parasha said the kids. He's like, what? FM kids? I'm going up on that wall.
Kids can come and climb, man. You know, it's a joy to see young people having fun in these difficult times. So, yeah, man.
I appreciate that, bro.
I don't keep too long, but in the book he said how you play football good and everything there. I wondering when the captain comes over, you know, we can go to, you know, what's it called again? goals or?
Well, we got goals on Friday afternoons. And hopefully,
Listen,
yes.
we ain't got to go far. The last time them brothers carried me way out, we just like 45 minutes for some rooftop football field. We ain't got to go far this time.
What's it called, man?
Gold Star
Power
City.
League, Power League,
Gold Star City. Yeah, Gold Star City.
Somewhere that a big Ferris wheel or kind of thing. I was like, all right, no sweat. Don't worry, Kratty, you ain't want to see me out there. I'm telling you.
One more question. So, I'm hearing that Tuesday sound, man. What's your baddest dub you ever had in possession? That's what I'm curious.
You know what? Back then, I was very proud of us of one silver cap dub that we had. Boy, I got dead in from here.
Okay.
So that was what. But when I found the dubs 26 years later, I found the dubs. I didn't realize I left them at my uncle's.
Still pressed on vinyl.
They're all on vinyl. Okay, and I called the selector. Big up Danger D. I called Danger D and said, "Yo, come to my uncle's." And I just get, because I know it's very much still in the sound. And I know he touched his heart, when I gave him the dubs, but I didn't realize we had an Upton James, and that's the biggest. That's the biggest.
All right, one question here. So, what was a shutdown tune back then, man? What was a lock off?
The silver cat dubs, because we had two silver cat dubs. Yeah, I'd say the silver cat dubs was like, yeah.
Okay. Listen, Kratty trying to get tips from you because he trying to test.
I didn't even have a sound clash every Friday. You get me?
Do you have a sound clash every Friday?
Yeah.
Remember, I'm the son of a sound man. I used to carry speaker box here.
Listen, man, that's carry water from Manchester, but they ain't starting.
I want to get a trolley, everything. One man hold one side, off the back line. But yeah. If you could, just ask the captain what you asked me when you first sat here. You asked me a question and he said you.
Oh yeah, I was. I was just curious when I walked in. You was saying we're not from Africa, and that was new to me. So I was just wondering if he's not saying we're from Africa and Egypt, where we from. So I asked brother to the left.
Okay, yeah, I remember you had a question. That was the question you wanted to ask me after.
Yeah,
that was good.
I know you said you're on a mission. I'm not asking you to convert me now.
No,
I just wanted to have an understanding from your lot's teachings. You know what I mean? Where I
ain't trying to convert you. There's nothing I can do to convert you. If the Lord wants you in here, you're gonna be in here. I'm telling you straight. It's up to Him. But I'm just telling you what I would like to see. But just on a more serious note, our biblical records dictate that, okay, the Garden of Eden is not in Africa. The Garden of Eden is actually the Middle East. It's a great portion of the Middle East, from the eastern corner of Africa, that horn there above Egypt, all the way up to Turkey, all the way east, Saudi Arabia, as far south as I think Libya. That's the Garden of Eden biblically, right? Okay. Galatians said Jerusalem is the mother of us all. Historical records prove the Jews are black. Historical records also prove the Israelites who went into Egypt was black. The Israelites before 1940 were also black. The Egyptian ambassador to the United Nations, his name is Abdel Nasser Gal. He said, how could a people leave the land black and return white? Meaning the white Jewish man in Israel today, and what he calls Israel today, is not the original Jew. They are the descendants of Polish and German people and Austrian people. They'll tell you that. Their grandparents will tell you that. They're not the real Jews. They were given that land in 1940. Israel is a people. Israel is the name of a man who's called Jacob in the Bible, the son of Isaac, right? His name was changed to Israel. We come from Israel. We come from his loins. He had sons. Those 12 sons form the 12 tribes of Israel, who we are today by biblical prophecy. It's in the Bible that the Jews would go into slavery in ships into a land where them nor their fathers have known, and there they would be sold for bondmen and bondwomen, and no one would be able to save us. And when you look in history, there have been slaveries that people went into, but not like the slavery we went into. You understand? The slavery we went into was absolutely historic. It's damn near, you know, one of the wonders of the world. Until this day, we don't know who we are. We haven't seen our homeland again. In Deuteronomy 28, it tells you, in the captivity, the real Jews will worship wood and stone. The wood represents the cross. The stone represents Islam. This was written thousands of years ago by Moses. Which other people on the earth went into captivity and was split down the middle between two major religions whose deities or representations are wood and stone? There's none. You can't find it anywhere. There's the Africans ain't split down the middle like that. The Chinese ain't split down the middle like that. You know, the East Indians ain't split down the middle like that. That Deuteronomy 28, it tells you our whole life. Child support is in the Bible. It says you're going to have children and women will decide your bread. That's in the Bible. Go ahead.
So you're saying from the horn, which is like with the horns, Ethiopia, Somalia, that side.
Not that, well, not in their land, but that that edge, that border up there, going northeast.
Okay.
Going northeast, that whole land, the rivers are the Hiddekel, the Tigris, the Python, and something else. I forget the name, the modern day names of them. Those rivers border the original Garden of Eden. The original Garden of Eden was the original land of Israel. The Jews are black according to the Bible. We come from Shem. Shem is a different lineage from Ham. The Africans come from Ham. The Ethiopians come from Ham. They are Cush. The Libyans come from Ham. They are Put. The South Africans come from Ham. They are Canaan. We are Shemitic. That's why there's always a distinction between Africans and Afro-Caribbeans. But we never mixed, we never meshed. Our cultures are different. Our culture is more dominant and influential. Theirs isn't. Everything about us is so superior to them. And if you know any one of them good enough, they'll tell you they know we are not the same.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm gonna look into it as well.
Definitely, I appreciate the question too. You know, on your side, where do you stand on, you know, the African belief and stuff like that, or the African, not belief, but the people?
In terms of the people, you know what? Me, I have the understanding that I'm from Africa. I've been Africa the last, you know, I've been 3 times in the last 18 months. Even during lockdown, I've traveled back. But I'm still searching. I'm still, because that's a new chapter. So like in terms of my faith, I believe in my faith. That's like that's me. That's my faith. But my parents, or my there's one side comes from Jamaica and there's another side comes from Guyana. So Jamaica, I know Jamaica, and I've did my, you know, I mean, gone back to where the family's from. But 2019, I got the opportunity to go back to Guyana, and go back to the family home and meet my auntie, and showed me the house that's been in the family for 4 generations, and get an understanding of my surname and where's that coming from, because Sam's an unusual surname, and I've never really understood, you know what I mean, my surname. So I'm still on my journey in terms of that. So then after that, I've gone back to Africa and I've did my, you know what I mean, my searching there, and my search continues. So that's why I asked you the question, because, you know, in terms of, like I said, my faith, I've got no doubt in my faith, but in regards to the skin color that I have, and the roots, you know, ultimately we all come back to, you know what I mean, the Creator created Adam, and then from his rib he created Eve. But in terms of where I come from, then I'm just still on my little journey. So that's why I wanted to ask you, and I appreciate the answer.
Definitely. Hopefully, maybe another time we could sit down and go more into the faith, more so. Once again, you know, looking to really understand what you understand, because a lot of people, even our guests, even people we battle on the streets, they see us with the Bible, and what comes to their mind is the Christian dogma of it. what Christians teach, and that's not what's in the Bible. And when we go into it and show them, they now like, hold up, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the reference he made with Adam and Eve, like even the whole rib thing. Like, they like people's understanding is like God performed surgery when that's not what it's talking about. You know what I mean? That's what people, not saying that's yours, but that's just people's understanding. Rib is slang for woman. We call our wife, that's my rib. And it means Adam took a woman from his family, and that was from his flesh, his own people. That's all it means. It's real simple how the Bible is written. And as we go into it with people, they say, nah, you're crazy, so and so. But when you explain it, the Bible is a black man's book written in slang. The same words we use, the same words is in there. Making it rain is a blessing. We say making it rain today. They describe the black woman in the Bible in a way like we talk about women today with their round tires and the this and the that. It's our book. But it's because we learned it from the oppressor, we learn a certain way. So as you say, you going through, Lord allow, we could come back again on a different setting to talk about something different, more so, what you understand, what I understand, and we could go from there. Because we definitely get into it with Muslims all the time. I had one in Hyde Park with some ridiculous Arab. I swear he was schizophrenic. And it's a totally different exchange to what me and you had. But, we definitely could do it at another time, Lord allow, if you had the time.
Yeah, man. I'm here, bro. I'm here.
Definitely. So again, no sweat. Thanks for coming on. We take a quick break.
Come on, sir.
Oh, you're trying to get some dub plates or crap? You that scared up? Yo! I have some. Listen, I have new plates for you. I have a brand new dub plates for you.
New thing press, man. Don't watch that, man.
All right, brother. Thanks for coming on again. Just before you go, just show the brother book.
Yeah, man. After Archie Comes is available on Amazon and also my website www.tanayasam.com. So
all right. Man. After hardships comes ease. All right, y'all check it out. You know what I mean? You could get reasonable price. You could rock with it. All right.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Shalom. I.S.U.P.K, Prince and Captain YAHANNA with Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, telling you to come out to the 52nd annual Passover under Commander General YAHANNA. Yeah, man, it's going to be at the ranch, man, the BH Ranch. And it's going to be a glorious event. April 24th, come to Houston, Texas, where we're going to serve the Lord the way he's supposed to be served. You understand? We're going to celebrate the destruction of our enemy in the BH Ranch, and it's going to be a glorious event. Make sure you come out, man. It's going to be a $200 fee to get in, but let me tell you something. You're going to enjoy yourself. This is going to be the best event you've ever been to in your life. So I'm going to tell you, man, 1449 Player Street, come out, man, and enjoy the brotherhood and sisterhood under Christ. With that, shalom.
Okay, we're back on the end. Me, myself.
Karate, I'm ready to kill you. If it's killing, I'm willing enough.
So what you say? Let's not go into the clash, bro. Because I got a little inspiration now.
Listen, I got about 5 minutes out of leave for Baltimore in a second. I'd head up to be more right now, but you know what I mean. I think you done.
Yo. Without the bomber clock to them, bad mind never kill them. Suffocate them, pussy. Yo, status. Tell some boys you don't chat us. Anyway, my dog out in the street, them bad. Gun talking up the trees, them bad. If any somebody ever treat them bad, send the pussy them, but meet them God. Louis V kicks on the feet, them bad. Get your new drip, dog, to beat them bad. Look how we just come and we a beat them bad. You know, sister, we is them dad. Hey, but anyway, though, this are no playground. The Glock 19, they have to stay round. nah take no check with me payroll. Anything rise up, play down. Them a send check, but they won't. Dog, we will make it step if they don't. But at the same old, say them want smoke, but the grabber done flame old.
Easy. Down, boy, down. Down, boy, down. Sit.
You lucky, sir. You lucky, man, we get flagged. You lucky, man, we get flagged. I got a yo. Listen, I'm about to kill an expert.
Listen, right now, you're sounding scared. You lucky man go get flagged.
Ready for that?
You sorry, man go get flagged. What? Listen, when you come,
you ready for it?
Listen, I'm with you.
Okay. You ready for it? It's the baddest killer will ever make. You get me? Hope you ready, you know. Okay, cool.
No witch, no fish. Want to dump the fish. Yo, them fall in a ditch. While Lord bless it, rich. Yo, bad man no pretend. Yo, I are the one. What's
I are the one.
Tell them, man a bad man, so me no friend fish. Tell them a fed black bullet, me take killing fish. Come speak me man, claim me not pretend fish. Them a taste like 7 day at the dentist. Don't tell them shut up on the dentist. Him a chat like him poopa is a dentist. Bout him a bad man, but him apprentice. Me a put on the pussy and his accomplice. A man container this.
Say, you talking like your dentist, man. You know me, play the dub, man. Play the dub. Get me one bag of...
Me just make a dopey with me 9. Me some of 10 get bad mine.
Easy.
Me some of 10 get bad mine. And then teach them a lesson. This one
Easy karate. We come together to honor Esther tonight. You know, I don't want to tote out her body.
But in honor of Esther, I'm gonna play one of the baddest killer songs we ever met, man.
Jackass, one of the tired with pressure, poor people. Well, Baba couldn't have a message phone, you see? Alright.
Never let your problem get you down. And just stay focused and hold your ground. Though it seems hopeless, there is no progress. We still also around town. We do what we do, so we stay alive. We sell what we sell, so we have to survive. We tired of the fuckery, and we fed up from about 95. So tell them so anytime. We hungry and then them have a CB9. Police out and say them a fight crime.
What can I say? Even in the northern here, you know.
Listen. Big up my dupes. Big up my charge. Big up to Zappa.
Big up, Captain.
Listen, real song, man. They shout out real gruntas in the crowd.
Go so, man. Yo.
Easy, karate. I ain't gonna kill you so bad, man.
Sir, I think it's time we go to make your way to Baltimore, man. You know what I mean?
I ain't gonna kill you so bad, karate. It's all right. It's okay. You know what I mean? It's all right. We go. Let's run this last one here. You know what I mean?
Yo. One best.
What kind of 2-in-1 double is this?
You talk too much when you come to when you come to shoot. Don't talk.
Hey boy, you're not tough, you favorite tough crackers. Don't come around here so when you know see rockers. Gun full of cap on you, now they have enough cash. Hey, where the hell is them? We said cash more liquor in a cup. All of me killer them kidney and liver up. The nigga them me a bar, we no give a fuck when my shop put trigger dog.
Bang, wait, hold up, karate. You listen, you can't come and clash. And you ain't have no dub plate. You hear what the man just say? Oh, wait, hold up.
No, wait, man, think about them.
The nigga then me a bar, we no give a
When who?
When my top pull trigger dog. No coward, no day in your so. If I were you, I study bigger than a syllabus. When I come to me, I've coulda feel a boss. Everything I bust, everything I walk, just cross the line. Strap to the Ingram, bar beside. We one in the head like all the time. Custom black on the car, the fine. Bus 40 miles, half the fine. Kill me the scope of the army style. Chop out the made from 40 miles. Don't fuck yourself, no start, no vibes. It's a bad man party time.
Yo, it's a bad man party time, man. What I talk about?
Listen, luck, before you go, listen, mark my word, I'm gonna pay big money. I don't care. I'm gonna pull some strings in her. I swear, I'm coming with the baddest dub. Watch this. You're gonna see Cartel big up the eye, you know. No word of a lie. Look out, listen. You can laugh now, but you can laugh now. Being in, listen. I'll get my, listen.
The man, the king of the north. King of the north. What happened there? He get dumpy. He out tonight. We had to have a 9 night starting tonight for him, or he living. I feel bring out the fish and crackers, because karate right now.
I said, me coming late, so me no know.
Yeah. Listen, that I know what that means. That listen. To have one a brotherly brother, you know, he letting you go down and teach.
Yeah, man, know what you mean? Tune for tune.
So like I said, the water for coming. You know what I mean? Crashed a bit. But anyway, that's the 34. So like, you hear me now, sir?
Yeah.
A bit of a lag, but water for coming, sir, man. The great interview. We're gonna have many more, man. Every Friday. You know what I mean? 9 p.m. to 12, man. You know, we didn't get into this.
Who we have inside? Who else is there? I know Shamgar there. Who else?
Everybody, Shamgar, Hakayan.
Hakayan, man. Yo, come on, man.
So, let's come down a second.
Nah, you ain't had to turn the camera. Come this way. Oh, shit, everybody inside. I see Yanakwat there. Shalom says, I see Ahaoba. I see Hakayan. Who's that? Who's this? Matthew right here?
Big Matthew. Come on.
Right there. Shalom. Who else we have inside?
Like our band on the camera. We got repack.
Hold on. 10 what's going on with Boy Sir? Hey, Rob, what's going on? Boy Sir, we ain't do no Boy Sir this week.
Sir, man, you get the Boy Sir.
Lord. What is that? You have a Boy Sir for me ready? Or next week? What you say, next week?
The Boy Sir, you know.
Next week. We inside. So everybody there, y'all know Shalom. Y'all enjoy yourself. Tomorrow night on Commander John YAHANNA channel, y'all know he's gonna be sitting down with the UK crew. You know what I mean? If y'all brothers, if you're still around tomorrow, it's gonna be 2 a.m. in the morning Saturday. But if y'all could make it. You know what I mean? He definitely gonna have you on his Saturday night show tomorrow night. Also, next week, Saturday, the 6th of March, is going to be Proud Boys Round 2. All right. Proud Boys Round 2. Commander John YAHANNA going head-to-head again with Enrique Tario, who is the head of the Proud Boys. Once again, one of the white supremacist groups that stormed the Capitol a few weeks ago. You're going to check it out. Get the flyer. Make sure it goes up on the UK page. Post it, share it around where everybody locked in. March 6, 9 p.m. is going to be a bloodbath. Yo, go watch the first one, the general ragdoll them. Totally ragdoll them.
I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, totally ragdoll them. So that's about it, man. You know, I love my UK family. You know, I love my UK crew. I ain't even want to get up and leave now, but I'm gonna go touch ball.
Before I go, sir, all I gotta say, you know what I mean? Big up to everyone at UPK, catch my shot. But listen, one thing, sir, man. Look out for my dub, man. It's getting pressed. Listen,
listen, I can get one for you.
See what I open.
Listen, I can get one for you. Listen, I can get one for you. I could get one for you.
It's okay, man. I'm gonna get a 50 sound man, a real sound man to press on for me. You know what I mean? You just watch it cause. I played. All right, cool.
Listen, listen. When I come up in here with my Capleton dub plate, don't fret, don't fret. Yeah, I mean, but it was a good show too. You know what I mean? Lord allow, we catch with the brother another time. You'll be safe. Enjoy the rest of the Purim. You'll have fun. Lord Allah, I'll see you all tomorrow night. All right.
To all sir, Yahweh Shem Shabbat.
Yahweh Shem Shabbat thumb. Yahweh Shem Shabbat. Look, man, now walking back in. What's that? Yahweh Shem Shabbat thumb. Yahweh Shem Shabbat. I'll see you all.
Come on, cousin.